Did you?
Yeah.
Got it.
Got it.
I can send here. You need the. Let me update this.
Yeah, put the true key in there, right? You'll have to like.
They were. I think
Did
they were
you just
down
flick
by
that
10.
on, or was that me on accident? Did you just flick on?
I think it was 13-3
No.
to kick the field with 13-6. Yeah.
I'm ready.
It says sending data now.
Yeah. Did you put the proper stream?
How do I?
keeper in there?
Where does it go in at?
Score, he gets a lot of pairs of that.
Settings?
Yeah, probably go to that.
It just
channel.
says save or.
Yeah,
No, it's not
for the
working.
10,
Channel
they don't
edit
score.
settings.
No. Do I gotta? What up, Street Fighters? Sunday night, time for a street fight. We're glad you're here. We're streaming live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter. Find us, hang out. There's a chat going on. Everybody's talking about it. It's Sunday night, time for a street fight. It's the call-in show. Brian and I will be answering your phone calls.
This is the remix.
Street Fighter, Sunday night, time for
Okay, that's
Street
weird.
Fight.
I think your computer's on.
Streaming live right now
It's your computer, I think.
Facebook, Twitch, It is. Twitter.
Girl, cool.
There it goes.
This kicks
We're
ass.
still getting used to it. This is a DIY show, just so you know. But we will answer your call-in questions as long as they aren't about live streaming help. We don't know much about that. We are looking for information about your job, small business tyrants you work for, fucked up realtors, you know, some landlord that's an asshole, anything's game. Call us at 614-412-5252. We're coming to you live out of Columbus, Ohio from the Free Press Studios. We're a part of the Pacifica Radio Network. It's 92.7 or 98.3. It's the best. It's WCRS. You can't find it anywhere else. WCRSFM.org to hear the live stream from the website and to find all the other wonderful programming we have here on WCRS. And if you want to see Street Fight live, we are coming to Cleveland, Ohio on November 24th, Saturday, the day after Black Friday. We're going to do Make Black Friday Red 2. Is there a sound?
I hear everything. Everything sounds great to me.
Perfect.
Yeah, well, I think that's how we start the show.
Go.
I think that's how we start the show this week, right? Like, me and Brett are going to be gone for a good few weeks, 3 weeks, probably, I think. Next week, we will be in Kentucky for the Trillbillies live show in Whitesburg.
Right.
You can find the information at they have on their Twitter. They have a really cool concert and live podcast going.
Yes. Tommy Wright third.
And that's next week. The
Lee
week
Banks
after
third.
the week after that is Make Black Friday Red in Cleveland, Ohio. We'll be doing and now that's class. We're gonna do Make Black Friday Red, and then I'm not ready to announce what happens the week after that. So I guess usually we start the show talking about what we're doing, what we're up to over the weekend, but I think it's time we have to talk about the show that's coming up, that live show that's in 2 weeks. We got to talk about Black Friday. That's what the show's about. The show in Cleveland is about Black Friday, and me and Brett are going to go experience Black Friday as we did 2 years ago, and I think it's going to be a good experience.
I'm excited to go back out there again. I recently went to Walmart to go get a copy of the Monopoly Millennial Edition, and it's the last time I was there was Black Friday, and wow, I had just lost touch with, you know, how many people wear slippers to the grocery store.
Well, since I'm wearing slippers right now at work, I'm not like all that freaked out.
We also have in the studio with us a user named Joshua. You know him as Josh. He'll chime in with the salient response. I still think about when you said when that guy was talking about having sex with lady cops and you said that was a Lil Wayne song. I think about it like once a week and it makes me laugh.
Since then, I've revisited the Carter 3. I was listening to that.
Oh, it's so
day.
good. Dude, it was a
Holds up.
monster. It was so fucking amazing when it came out.
He really ruled the world for a little bit.
I know.
there, about 10 years
Untouchable.
That's what rap does. They'll let somebody rule the world for a little bit and then they're just gone forever. It's like Future was that, 2 Chainz was that in 2011. It's just you get to rule the world for about a year and a half and then you go away forever.
Yeah, that's true.
So we're gonna go shopping. I guess on Thanksgiving, I will definitely go to Walmart and Best Buy because they're open. We will go out Wednesday night before Thanksgiving.
What we do know about Walmart and when we went to Kohl's and all those places is that the people out there need the shit. Like, it's probably the only way they're going to get a vacuum cleaner for $70. You know, it's not as many greedy fighting people as I expected to see. But some of the most terrible fucking gifts you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah.
That people are just going nuts for.
I mean, that's what they call the worst gifts in the world? This is like, there's 2 things. Like, so the worst food in the world is work potluck food, and the worst gifts in the world are stocking stuffers from Kohl's. Like, just we don't. I wish we could like wean off of stockings.
Well-
Wouldn't that be a thing to do?
We need to, we need to start talking to people about having less stuff and maybe just not spending the money if it's something that's going to sit in my basement for 15 years.
Yeah, I don't need like a mini basketball game with a ping pong ball or
Yeah.
anything.
If it's just going to be the Kohl's one, no. If you're going to find me a decent one that is enjoyable to play, but I don't want like a penny hockey table that's too small to get any enjoyment out of because it's like the pocket version.
Yeah, that's. I mean, stockings are like so. Christmas, I believe. Now, it's never been this way in my lifetime, so I can't be a person who says that this is how it used to be. But I believe that Christmas used to just be junky crap. Like, you got a few little junky pieces of crap, and then you got your socks and your underwear, and that's like basically what Christmas was.
Dude,
until like the 80s. And then in the 80s, it was like, now, you got to get a fucking Atari. You got to get this. You got to get that. It's got to be $500.
And then we came up with the Toys R Us wish book too.
Yeah.
Where you had to circle all the shit you wanted.
Well, that was the service merchandise catalog when I was a kid. We had
Yeah.
that. You could get in that service merchandise catalog, circle some shit, and then your parents could go try and find it somewhere else because they don't order stuff through the mail because that's a crazy thing to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, JCPenney was where my mom and my grandma and everybody I knew could get credit. So JCPenney's catalog, and especially there used to be an outlet store here in town. It was the best place to shop. You could get actual deals. There used to be real deals.
No, outlet stores weren't a gimmick.
Right.
Like, now it's just like an outlet store just means that it has all the same brand in it.
Now it's like computers that are just doing retail arbitrage and comparing how much this junk has went up and down in value and then where they can offload it to make $1 per pound.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at like the Nike store, it's like an outlet mall now just has a Nike store, and they got all the same damn shoes that Foot Locker has for the same price, and you just go buy them. But sometimes they'll have a buy one get one 50% off, but you're still getting your ass whooped there.
Outlet clothing where they just make they're like, we'll just make cheaper versions of our shit. You know,
I hate it. I hate outlet malls. Have cost me more money than probably anything in the world because my family will talk me into going there, and then I go there and I believe in my mind this stuff's cheaper, so I mean I'm not going to get a better price than this, and then you are going to get a better
you only shop clearance. That's the only way you buy. You go in the clearance. You be completely open-minded. You try on stuff you normally wouldn't try, and you get the best deal you can. And that's the only way you can make sense of an outlet mall because they do have every full-priced item on the way before they actually got those $15 pair of shoes.
Yeah, I mean, when I was growing up, you would go on vacation, and there was always an outlet mall on vacation. You get to Hilton Head, and you're like, finally, man, I can go to the Pacific Sunwear and get a nice pair of old kickwears. And for a decent price, I can get 2 pairs of Etnies for the price of one.
Dude, Tech Vests are buy one, get one free down here in Hilton Head.
Yeah, that was a cool thing you get to do, but now it's just everywhere. It's just like capitalism does that thing where everything is just everywhere now, so nothing is special. Like outlet store. Oh, I can go to outlet store anytime, any day of the fucking week. I can Girl Scout cookies. I could just go to the goddamn store right after we do this show. I can stop at the 24-hour supermarket and get some goddamn Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah. Well, Aldi has them too for 89 cents. You can get grasshoppers for 89 cents at Aldi.
Yeah, I'm just even saying that I can get those things 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I can have Samoas.
No, every time that I've strayed from work to look at True Religion jeans, I then get an email that's like, we're only charging $45 for those this weekend. It's a blowout.
Yeah,
you know?
It's just everything's everywhere, and it's nothing is special anymore. Just nothing. You can get. They make too much of everything.
The quality of everything has just gone down too, and just we burn through stuff because we're addicted to those transactions and just having the stuff in the pile of presents, and that's how you show your love, right? That's how you show love and affection is with these useless things.
Well, I've said this in the past, like that I'm sort of bad at like buying presents. I like really suck at it. And like, I just am terrible, but I love everybody. Like, but I feel like people think I don't like them because of the presents I buy them. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I buy somebody a present and I'm like, I agonized over this. I promise you that if it's for Brett or Katie or my daughter or something like that, I agonized over that. And I picked something up and I put it back down. I picked something up and I put it back down. And then I finally said, fuck it, I'm just going to get it. And it's garbage. And then I get it to the person. And then my fucking whole feeling on Christmas Day, I'm serious about this, listeners. The whole feeling I have on Christmas Day is that everybody thinks I hate them. And I understand, you know, but I don't feel that way. Like when I get a gift, I'm like, I love this gift. This is great. You know, even if I don't like it, I'm just like, whatever, you know, I'll use that.
You got to put a little bit of work in to give a good gift. You got to notice, you got to just notice shit. Like when you go and cook at someone's house and they're using like a little fucked up paring knife to try to do all the chopping, you're like, I could spend, you know, $35 on a Wusthof knife for this person and change their fucking cooking life.
That's the move. That's top level gift giving. When you notice something in like March,
yeah,
just having a conversation like, "Oh, I hate this thing."
Yeah,
and then bam.
Yeah, instead, and like someone has some shit ass gloves, and then you go and buy them like a decent pair.
Yeah.
Fucking smart.
Yeah. I mean, I'm bad at it. I guess I just like don't notice those things. I'm self-centered.
Yeah,
and like I just spend my time like. I kind of just, I guess I don't, like, pay attention. Or I just assume, like, the other thing with, like, adult present buying is that, like, you just assume that if somebody wants something, they go get it. I think that people just go and get the shit that they want. I know they don't.
I want to so bad. There's stuff I want to buy. I was actually just, there's, like, stuff I want to buy that I refuse to buy, like, a shitty version of it. So I'm just sitting here, like, I'm not going to spend the money on some piece of shit, whatever it is. I can't think of something right now. But like,
I give you mine, rain gear. I need rain gear because I walk like crazy.
Yeah, and you know, and I waited it out for a weekend when there was like a Memorial Day sale and I could stack coupons, and I got a really expensive fucking rain jacket, and I took it with us on the Midwest tour. And I lost the fucking thing. I left it in a hotel, and I immediately came home and bought it again. And I don't regret it at all. Because every time I wear it, I'm happy being out in the rain. It doesn't bother me. I'm completely comfortable. I'm fucking prepared.
So the thing I need that...
The pants?
I will never buy in the whole world. There's two things I need that I will never buy. One, backpack. I need luggage. Like every single... Brett and my wife, who are both kind of my wife... both know that I need luggage, but I will never let Katie buy me luggage because I know how much it costs and I don't want to spend that money, and I'll just ram stuff in this backpack that is actually falling apart now.
And you know what? And I've done this several times too. I went to Kohl's and bought a $45 suitcase, and the zippers fucking bust on them every single time. There's no long lasting. They shouldn't even sell that. They should just say, sorry, but you aren't going to get luggage that cheap. We can't make it cheap.
Yeah.
It's gonna fucking fall apart on you.
Yeah, luggage. I mean, the thing is, I don't want a suitcase. I'm like not a suitcase guy.
Who carries suitcase?
Again, as Brett has yelled at me about on this show all the time, everything has to look cool. So I want a black backpack, and that's all I want now. I just want a backpack that I can put my computer and my clothes in, and I think that looks cool. I can put it on my back and walk, and it's like, oh, look at this guy. He's got his shit together. He fits it all in a backpack, and he can travel.
You're prepared.
Yeah. I mean, I already bring a goddamn fan on the road with me, dude. Like, how much more do I want to have? And like, I don't want one of those rolly suitcases. I brought one on tour once, and I fucking hated it. So,
or they're always like stumbling and tumbling behind you.
I know, they're not.
What is there to hate about a rolly suitcase?
It's just too much. It's too much.
The handle's not
enormous.
The handle always needs about 6 inches more on it, I feel like.
Yeah, and they're just enormous. It's so much. It's like those people that when they get their cell phone, they're like, "Oh, just give me the biggest one you got here." Hey, I got a phone. It's the size of a fucking iPad, and it's like, why do you want that? It's huge.
6.5 inch screen. They got a phablet.
Yeah, just some people like really big things. I'm a man of the future. I like very small things.
But we have a buddy that's a pretty big guy, and he has a phablet. But like in his hand, it looks normal. It's like when you see Andre the Giant, he couldn't hold like an iPhone in his hand and comfortably use that thing.
Yeah.
He would have to use like an iPad.
He'd have been fine. He could have used a regular. Well, I mean, but that's size, right? Like,
Yeah.
so he's a tall guy. If the phone looks smaller, I don't want the phone to be like huge in my hand. Like, where
Right.
it's like, God damn, man, you need like somebody to help you carry that thing?
Right.
You need somebody to hold on to that thing with you?
Andre the Giant trying to use an iPhone is a great visual.
Yeah.
That would be a good physical bit.
We're going to make
for
some
him- for him
money
to-
off that.
for him
Giant
to try-
fingers.
Yeah, trying to send a text to someone.
Guy, he's lucky. Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, the Big Show has to do it,
R.I.P.
right?
to a real one.
Yeah.
The Big Show has to do
Yeah,
like,
let's see.
touch things.
Let's get some video of Big Show using a phone. I want to see what this looks like.
He probably has to get an attached keyboard.
Oh, he has a stylus. I bet he has a stylus.
Oh, people with the stylus are something else, man. It's like those things are done.
I was down with styluses at the beginning. I was okay with them,
Yeah.
but
They're
they
stupid.
fell out of style.
Let's hit the phones. Let's see who we got on the phone.
What people want to talk about.
Let's talk to some people. What's the people up to out there in the city? Not this city, just other cities. Look at that. Look at all them collie wallies.
7,000 calls.
Thank you for calling Street Fight Radio. Who are we talking to?
You're talking to Leslie Lee III of Struggle Session.
Yay! What's up, Leslie? How are you?
I'm great, man. How's it going?
Great. Are you in Los Angeles yet?
Not yet. I'll be there later this week. I'm currently in Loudoun County, Virginia, the worst place in the goddamn world, because it's the richest, one of the wealthiest places in America. It's absolutely terrible. I hate it, but I'm going to escape. I'm going to sunny California next week for our Struggle Sessions first ever live show on November 19th. So if there's any Street Fight listeners, and I know like 90% of the Los Angeles population are people who escaped the Midwest to go to California. So if you please come out and support us. November 19th, Monday night at Resident, we'll be having our first ever Struggle Session live show.
And
That's dope.
I am a huge Struggle Session fan. Just listened to the show about Scream today. That was my grocery shopping stuff. I did not realize that there were fans of the Scream series. Like you guys.
Scream rules.
Oh, okay.
Scream
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah. Like it's. I guess it kind of fell out of style. The kids don't get it. The kids don't understand. All of their horror movies are about like ghosts and shit. They don't understand the pure visceral thrill of just watching Drew Barrymore get hacked to bits. They don't understand that.
Just a group of sexy teens getting hacked down one at a
Yeah,
time.
yeah, I love the stereotypes too, because now everybody's aesthetic is so dialed in that they can create characters that just feel so realistic. And back then it was such like a pastiche of people at your high school that all of a sudden got caught up in some sort of murder mystery.
It's so fun, and the teens are so shitty to one another.
Yep.
Like they're all like in their 20s or whatever, but like it's a perfect encapsulation of what I always imagined going to a white high school would be. And I haven't seen anything that's dispelled that for me yet.
I mean, it was it. That's why we love it. That's why that's what I got out of it.
I guess something that like occurred to me while I was listening to that show was that not very positive feelings for the Saw movies, which was actually the movies that got me out of watching horror movies. I pretty much stopped at Saw and Hostel. I was like, I can't watch those things.
You know, because there's no like character to really hold on to. Like when you're looking at any of the horror series, there's at least a final girl or somebody that the audience can identify with. But when you're talking about Hostel and Saw, and whether you just are constantly killing everyone, like those movies are much more male heavy too. I actually think you need women in horror. That's who you want to identify with. That's who I always identify with in horror films, and like having like male based kind of macho horror, like it just doesn't work really.
Well, I completely disagree because I think Jigsaw is somebody that is pulling people out of their wretched lives and teaching them that they actually want to live and they don't want to do these dastardly things. And I identified with Amanda, who was down for the cause and wanted to assist Jigsaw in carrying through with getting people to get out of this existence of nothingness or, feeling like they wish they were dead and then showing them what it would be really like to face death face on.
Yeah.
No,
go ahead,
I think
Leslie.
that might be I think we're going to have you on the show to talk Saw sometime.
No.
We haven't really dove in.
No, my dream is Brett on Struggle Session talking Hellboy. So if you when you guys decide to tackle Hellboy, Leslie is who got me to watch Hellboy 2 because it was on Netflix, right? And Brett loves Hellboy. Hellboy has been part of Brett had Hellboy in his first stand-up set in his whole life, talking about watching Hellboy with his drug dealer. Like, it has been a thing since I've known Brett. He's sort of obsessed with Hellboy in this weird way.
What happened was I went to go buy weed, and my guy had just got this new surround sound. He had this gigantic TV, and he had Hellboy 2 on Blu-ray. And he sits down. He's like, "I'm about to start it. Do you want to watch?" And I watched the whole fucking movie, and I got screamed at by my girlfriend so fucking bad. I was so late, but I could not. I had to watch the whole movie.
So I told Leslie that I want to watch Hellboy, but Hellboy 1 is not out there to get. You got to buy it because capitalism kicks ass. I pay $60 a month for different streaming services, but I can't watch Hellboy 1. I can only watch Hellboy 2. So he was like, you can just watch Hellboy 2. You don't even have to watch Hellboy 1. So I watched it and I was like, boy, that is nothing. Like, when I finally watched it, I was like, that's nothing like anything I've ever seen. Like, it was very weird movie. Like, such a weird, combination of things, because I thought it was just a straight up action movie, and I really think that movie's like a fantasy movie. Like, that movie was for Lord of the Rings people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the scope and size
Yeah, it has
is
a lot of-
amazing.
Yeah, it has tons of things going on. I personally like all the Lovecraftian stuff in the second film. That's why I prefer it a little bit more than the first film. But I just watched Ready Player One today, which is it's such a terrible movie, and it's so bad that I think maybe movies on the whole were a mistake. But Hellboy is the sort of film where they do the pastiche and they're bringing everything together the right way. Like, yes, he's ripping off Mike Mignola, who did the comic, is ripping off all the stuff that he read as a little kid, but he's adding his own little twist to it, just like George Lucas did with Star Wars. These are actual genuine things, and they create something new and worthwhile. I think Tarantino does this as well, but I just can't get fucking the goddamn Ready Player One out of my head because it's just so bad.
I took my family to New York the last time we did a big show there. And we were getting ready to buy tickets to go to a movie because we got back to the hotel. We were staying in Queens, and it just wasn't anything else to do. We were right next to a hotel, and I was like, let's go see Ready Player One. And then I brought the tickets up on my phone, and it was going to be $75, which it's very different. In Ohio, that is a $20, $25 night out. Like the movies is a cheap thing. So we put them away. And then when it came out on the PlayStation, we were all kind of excited to see it because I was like, these fucking people on the internet hate everything. These people, they can't get into anything. It's probably fine. And then I watched that movie, and it really is one of the worst things I've ever seen. It made me... It's one of those things that makes you hate the culture. It's one of those. It turned me against nostalgia again in a way that I hadn't been turned. Because when we first started this show, me and Brett were kind of really pissed off about the nostalgia thing, and I kind of let it slide. I started watching the Marvel movies and shit like that, and I just didn't mind it. I didn't see a problem with remaking TV shows into movies and stuff, and. And I would go see these movies, and I wouldn't have a problem with them. And then I went and saw I watched Ready Player One, and I was like, I never want to see another, like, I wish that I never want to see like just a big collage of fucking intellectual property thrown at my face on TV.
Yeah, and I mean, you're absolutely right in that, like, Mike Mignola he introduced me to things like, he introduced me to like Astaroth and Baba Yaga and Samael and all of these like ancient things that I would have no idea about. But I learned so much through reading those comics, and Hellboy is such a likable character because he's literally like the fucking son of the devil, and he doesn't want to be the son of the devil. So he's like, Shinji from Evangelion. He's just one of those people that like doesn't like the card he's dealt, and wants to be better than that. And the thing that Tarantino accomplishes with his movies too is that, like, if you're watching his movies, he's introducing you to like 10 other movies that you can see that are just as cool as the one that he made. You know, like he's like helping you out and giving you things to see. It's not just like collecting action figures and sitting in front of them, you know, and just looking at all the stuff that you like. You know, it's not like, it becomes like when you use pop culture, your consumption as it to be like your personality. It's like when it loses all of the merit, I guess.
Yeah, like when I can't imagine somebody watching Ready Player One and then wanting to go watch The Shining after it. Like it really is. It's destructive almost to those properties that it's referencing, because it's not creating anything new, and it doesn't really seem to understand anything like about why people loved them in the first place. Like it's a movie about video games that is in itself is mostly like a video game cutscene, but it doesn't understand why people play or even like video games. They're like the end scene where like the big thing is that like he has to find an Easter egg in like a Atari game, and like what gamer gives a shit about that? No one. No gamer wants to go back and play anything before NES, basically, and they certainly don't want to spend hours finding Easter eggs in them. We hate that shit. We want to play like good actually games that are actually good, and this movie somehow manages to reference almost none of them.
Well, that is kind of neat though, because those guys that did the Easter eggs in the early Ataris were just like stoners and cokeheads that put like weird shit in there because they could.
I think another thing about that movie is when you guys brought up Quentin Tarantino, or like in Hellboy they use Lovecraft. Tarantino, draws from all these old movies that you can go back and watch.
Spit on her grave.
But this movie, this Ready Player One, it doesn't teach you anything new, I guess. There's like nothing in it. Like every fucking buddy has seen Ghostbusters. And everybody has seen, everybody's seen the movies that they're referencing in this, the Ghostbusters, The Shining.
Yeah.
It's like they're not turning you on to anything. And it isn't even like they're taking concepts from these things and putting them in this movie. They're just being like, check it out, it's the Ghostbusters car.
Yeah, Back to the Future, like all this stuff that hasn't, been allowed to go away and die because of copyright laws. They're still trying to make money off of all these properties. They're still trying to sell us all these movies with their new streaming services, et cetera, et cetera. And so this film is just like a big advertisement for films that we bought on DVD and Blu-ray, and now we're going to have to subscribe to one of Disney's 5 streaming services to watch. Like Steven Spielberg should be so just embarrassed. Like he shouldn't be able to show his face in public after this.
It's stunning to me. I don't understand it, because I remember screenshots of that book being posted up on Twitter. This is before the movie even came out, and I thought, is this like a pixelated boat tweet that makes fun of this book?
Yes.
But no, it's the actual book. I cannot believe Steven Spielberg made this movie, and it's offensive how bad this movie is. Not like
I gotta see this shit, man. It sounds like some.
Not offensive for unwoke reasons. It is just so bad.
It's insulting. It's the same. We just played Monopoly for Millennials, Leslie, on our stream with our families, and that game was a 1 hour insult. Like, it was just sitting there, and this thing is saying, like, so you start out in this game with $100, and basically the conceit of the game is that you're broke the whole time and you can't buy anything.
Oh my god. Wow.
The person that goes first, instead of rolling to see who goes first, the person with the most student loan debt goes first. And that's in the instruction book.
Wow.
So
That's
it's just one of,
Wow.
like, I feel like we have when you talk about like Disney and stuff, we've let them get back to the point where they have like disdain for us. Like, they like actually don't care about us at all, and they know now that they can just use like almost an algorithm to make these movies, which I truly believe that's what Disney's shooting for now too. Because if you look at the Netflix movies, the Netflix original movies that come out, you can tell those are written by the algorithm, because there's 15, like, okay, so Walking Dead's one of the most popular things on Netflix, right? All the Netflix original movies are about extinction and zombies and shit like that.
yeah.
And then next year it'll be something else because the algorithm picks it up. And now they're letting these algorithms write these movies. And that makes the movies all hits because they're movies that are like designed by a computer. And I wouldn't say hit as in like people like them. They're just forgettable movies that everybody watches, which we've all trained ourselves to do now. We've all trained ourselves. Like, Leslie hates the Marvel movies, and I guarantee he's going to go see Infinity War 2.
I actually liked Infinity War because it was like 4 episodes of different TV shows crossing together. So I did not hate Infinity War as much as I hate something like, say, Doctor Strange, which is just something that should not exist. And it's so bad because like people pretend like these are actually not just good comic book movies, but good films. Good films. Like we talk a lot on Struggle Session about like how far film criticism has fallen, because it used to be back in the day, and we talked about this on the Blade episode that you were on, Brian, where, you know, back then Blade, all the critics hated Blade. All of them, and they hated all the movies like it. The Crow, Spawn, Hellboy. They hated them, and we were okay with it. If it got like a thumbs down for Ebert, then we knew, all right, this is going to be a good ass action movie.
Yeah.
Nowadays, like all these movies that are so much worse than those old school action movies get like rated like Oscar films from back in the day.
Yeah. And Brett just found this out, but they have an Oscar now to give to those movies. Like just an honorary Oscar now to hand to those movies every year, so that, people say it's for Black Panther, right? It's either that or Infinity War, right? Like that's getting the award for the movie. And that's just...
Yeah, it's sick. It's sick. It's so sad and embarrassing for the Academy to do it. And they did it because the awards air on ABC, and of course Disney owns ABC, so if they want an Oscar just for their films, their $200 million films, they're going to get an Oscar for their $200 million films, and that's how it is.
Yeah,
and
like
my
iHeartRadio hosts the podcast awards.
Yeah. And my hatred for critics was sort of one of my first anti-authoritarian rebellious things. Like growing up, it was like, oh, he gave that movie 1 star. Well, I'm going to go see it. And I'm going to fucking like it. And it was like, it nurtured my rebellious side,
And now you just, like, they're so sad and pathetic, like, and they're not creating rebels anymore. They're creating little clones who, if one critic gives Black Panther, like, a middling review, they get dragged and called a racist on Twitter, which is literally what happened to, like, some random, like, Danish guy who said that they needed more fight scenes in Black Panther, and everyone just, a bunch of people, like, just got on Twitter and called them racist. Like,
right.
This is, like, culture is going in, like, a really sad and also very boring place, too.
Yeah, it's always been boring, really.
Yeah. So, Leslie, before we let you go, I got to ask your advice on something that I just had to make my Christmas list today. And you're my gamer expert. You're the most gamer person I know, pretty much. Brett plays like kids games. Like he loves games where you're like working in a kitchen. He doesn't care about killing people
right
at all. So I asked for 3 games, and I wanted to see what you thought about these 3 games. The first game I asked for was Hitman 2, the new Hitman. Is that a good call?
All right. I believe so. I mean, of course, it's not out yet, but the first one, which is not the first in the series, but it was the first in the reboot, is a very excellent game. I would definitely check that out. If you haven't played it, maybe if you want to save your whoever's getting you these presents some money, tell them to get you the first one. It's probably only $30, and it's going to have tons and tons of content. And by the time you get done with it, Hitman 2 will be $30.
Oh, see, that's a Brett advice.
Yeah.
I like to have the newest, best thing, though.
Okay.
Number
That's
2.
the good
But
advice.
it's a good call.
That was good advice. That's good holiday deal getting.
Number 2, God of War.
God of War, excellent.
Always
I
good.
played it. Fantastic. One of the best games I've ever played. I was very hesitant about this one because they completely changed the fight system, but it's a brand new fight system. No other game has done it, and it's perfect. It's a phenomenal game. Highly, highly recommend it.
Awesome. Okay, here's the last one. And it's just because the packaging looked cool. Detroit, Become Human.
I don't know about that one, Chief. Like, it's all right. So a lot of people have been making fun of it, but for like woke reasons, which I don't really buy. But it's a very specific type of game. It's made by, I forget the guy's name. He's some David Cage. He is a video game auteur, and he makes these like adventure games with these, kind of complex narratives and these themes that he's obsessed with. It's a very specific type of game, and if you like that, like, it's not like an action game. You're not going to be going around killing a bunch of people. There'll be some like quick time event fight scenes, but not a lot of like real action. It's more like a interactive movie. So if you're into that sort of thing, go for it. Otherwise, I would maybe check out Heavy Rain instead, which is his previous game, and you could probably get for like $10 at GameStop.
I'm changing God of War to not God of War, Detroit Become Human to Heavy Rain.
Someone in the chat said that God of War was too much dad simulation, so I don't know if that will be an escape from what you normally do.
I love being a dad, though. I'm the like top dad on Twitter.
Yeah.
T-Dog.
You come over, play Harvest Moon, dude. It's peaceful game. It's not about murdering things. It's about growing vegetables
Carrots
and sharing
and
them with
shit,
your
yeah.
neighbors, raising
No,
livestock.
I'm with Brian. I gotta kill some. I gotta kill some shit if I'm playing the game.
I know.
Sorry.
I once saw some guy tweet. And look, I'm not gonna take somebody down for their like really weird opinions or bad opinions out of one tweet. And I never saw the guy again. I couldn't even tell you who it was. But they said one day in the future, we're going to be weirded out about how all of our video games had to have people killing people. And I was like, I don't think that's going to happen.
No. We're not just going to forget that you can do that and then not program a computer to show us what that would be like.
It's like saying one day we're only going to watch movies where people do nice things to each other.
Right.
It's like, no. I'm going to tell you right now that when I watch a movie, there needs to be a gun or some killing. And you're just not going to get around it with me. It's the same thing I say about the war on drugs. They're like, how do I know that you can't snuff out drug use? Because I'm always going to fucking use drugs. Like,
Right.
I'm the source here.
Right.
Okay?
I can tell you that's going to fail.
Well, Leslie, I want to tell everybody to go see you guys in LA. I'm gonna have you give the thing again and again. I just love your show. It like is something different than the other politics shows and the other lefty sort of shows. And like you guys just have a space that you work in, and like you grab me every time you talk about such like I said a podcast about Scream is like that's the perfect kind of thing to get me in there.
Ooh, someone's.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I interrupted. I shouldn't have.
No, I was just saying thank you so much for having me on. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys and your support. Like I always say on my show, we're just trying to get on Street Fight level. We're just trying to do what y'all are doing, because y'all have been doing it for the longest time, and you're doing great work. But once again, check us out, patreon.com/struggle session. live show November 19th in Los Angeles at Resident. You can get your tickets at bit.ly, bit.ly link, /sesh.la, bit.ly/sesh.la for your tickets.
I wish we were there, and hopefully one day us and you guys will be able to be on stage together. That would be very fun.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Okay. I have for you, Brian. I have actually a good one. Someone in the chat mentioned it, and I've actually played this game. And apparently they just did a remake for it. It's called Shadow of the Colossus, and basically you're this little guy on a horse, and you ride into the distance for a long time. And there's 12 gigantic fucking monsters that you have to climb your way up. Like, they'll be covered in grass and shit, so you have to, like, jump and hang on, and they'll try to throw you off. And you have to, climb all their body and get through the whole thing, and you have to kill them. Like,
Okay.
it's a pretty good game.
I like killing stuff.
And it's kind of like Zelda-esque, but way bigger. I don't know. It's good.
I'll check it out.
It's tough, too.
Yeah. Okay. Is it on
And you
PlayStation 4?
But you're like one tiny guy that's like, there's flying ones, so you have to get on your horse and get underneath them and then grab onto like their fucking talons and then climb your way up and carve their fucking eyes out of their head and shit.
That's kind of cool. I'll go
Yeah,
with that.
it's good.
That was fun. We had Leslie Lee on the call-in show. That is a star right there. That is one of our
Star
stars.
is born.
Who do we got? You want to take the next call?
Sure. Let's see who's on the phone.
I'm glad I could get some video game advice on this show. Nobody.
Sorry, I can't provide that for you.
Well, you can recommend games. You'll just be like, oh, here's a game where you run a barber shop and you got to cut people's hair in really cool ways.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
No, that's not for me. Do you have a game where you sneak up on people and cut their head off in different cool ways?
Here's a game where you have a bed of roses in your front yard. You have to water them and trim them.
Yeah, text-based adventure where you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
I do Phoenix Wright's Ace Attorney, one of my favorites.
My favorite one that Brett really likes is called Shenmue or something.
Oh yeah, that was one of the
And he
best
was like,
games.
dude.
You just walk around.
He's like, dude, you fucking work in a warehouse in this game. You're like driving a forklift and you're moving boxes and shit like that. And I'm like, I absolutely don't want to play
You
that.
get a part-time job on the docks, and you drive forklifts, and then this gang comes to fight you at work, and you get to like hit them with the forklift, which is like a dream of mine.
You just dream so small. The story of Street Fight Radio is dream really small.
Yeah.
God, I wish one day when I'm running a forklift, a gang comes in and I can beat them up with the forklift. I've been practicing these goddamn moves for years.
I would be so good at it. I would be so good at it.
Your video game taste is cool though. I of course you I think I'm the one that likes uncool stuff. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with the stuff you like, and I think it's cool and interesting and novel, and it's a cool use of computers, but it's also just kind of like
doesn't do it for you.
I can't get off on that.
Yeah.
I need blood, man.
All right, let's see who's on the line here. Thank you for calling Street Fight Radio. Who are we talking to?
Hey, you're talking to one of your Facebook cops.
How's it going, Ryan?
We got Ryan on the air.
Yeah, let's keep it to first names because I got some weird shit to talk about.
I'm Brian Quinby, and he's Brett Payne in the studio, but we are only going to call you Ryan.
I appreciate that. Real quick, just to get it out of the way, if you haven't seen me bothering people on Facebook, I just had my first ever written piece published ever on Current Affairs, which is a very good leftist magazine. It's called What You Have to Fear from Artificial Intelligence. Dystopian technology is coming, but not in the way you think, and y'all should, you know, if you haven't read it, you should read it. I worked really hard on it. Did you guys read it?
I actually have not read it, to be honest.
I haven't read anything from Current Affairs in a very ever.
That's fine.
I'm
It's
evil.
fine.
I'm
It's
evil.
like 4,000.
I don't read a lot of those things. Like, I sometimes will go through and read them, but I spend more of my time just reading Twitter and like angrily reading micro blog posts.
Oh my God, I've got some things to say about micro. No, you boys are good with me. I don't care that you haven't read my piece. It's fine.
I'm doing like a weird phone thing where I'm shutting it down and have like all these apps that block things that bother me. So I haven't been reading so much on my phone recently.
There really is no need to make listen, you two comrades do a lot for the struggle. All right, like it's okay. You don't need to read my rantings. But if you're not one of the two Bs, you should read my piece.
So let these listeners in on what you called for, because I know we kind of know what you're calling for, but I don't know how far you want to go.
Well, I wanted to go really far, and my partner in crime wanted me to go less far. Real quick, though, on November 17th, the Chicago Community Bond Fund, which is an organization that just basically gets people out of jail, really, that's the entirety of what they do here in Cook County. If you live in Cook County or the Chicagoland area, come. It's going to be a good time. We got there's musicians, there's like acts. We got a Kenya, Lindsay, Damon and Kiss from Ergo, and Barbara Ransby. So if no one will be turned away, whatever. But the normal idea to get in is $20. There's going to be a lot of party, a lot of booze, and a lot of music. And this is in my opinion, having funded a lot of organizations, the best organization in the city of Chicago.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Go to that.
Yeah. No. I just wanted to get people there. I don't work for them or anything, but they're amazing.
Sweet.
Yeah. By the way, Mike Rowe, that fucking when I called in, I was like, I'm not going to talk about Mike Rowe. He made $10 an hour, right, in 1979, being the movie guy, right?
Yep.
I did. He
didn't make $10 an hour.
He started at $2.80 and then he got a raise to $10 an hour to be the projectionist after 6 months.
Right. Okay.
So the $2.90 works out to over $10 an hour. First of all, which is 47% higher. I did the math on this. What he was making in 1979 is 47% higher than the federal minimum wage now. Yeah. So just to get the Mike Rowe approved minimum wage would be a 47% raise.
Fuck.
Okay?
But what is he making at $10 an hour, though? He was making
$10 an hour right now in 2018 dollars. It's $36.96.
See, that's what
that motherfucker was making $37 an hour.
That's what the people that make the movies happen should get, and the people that clean the toilets.
Also, let me just say this: projectionist. He was sitting in a room.
Yeah.
Because I would never denigrate somebody's job as a projectionist or somebody. I'm not trying to denigrate their job, but his whole gimmick is denigrating people's jobs. That's the whole thing that he does. He says, oh, people that work at McDonald's, they shouldn't just be happy there. They should just have to leave and get another job. But this guy was making $36 an hour to sit.
37. It was $36.96. $37 an hour. Let me tell you, in 2018, what somebody in 1979 making $10 an hour is making in 2018 dollars annually. It is $76,876.80. Motherfucker was pulling in $77 grand a year in 2018 dollars, rolling movie reels.
It's crazy.
Oh my fucking! That is the dream right there.
Yeah, that's. I would take that job.
No wonder he believes in this shit.
Yeah, well, I also, like I said, I don't know if I articulated this very clearly on the show, but we do know that he doesn't really talk to employees. He talks to the owners of businesses and the people that run the businesses. He doesn't talk to the guy that's doing the work. He talks to the guy that owns the place.
When he testified before Congress, he was paid to by some shadowy group of old billionaires and shit, because what they wanted was there's a limit to how many of those foreign worker visas you can hand out every year, and they wanted more of them because they cost less. The labor is cheaper, and that might be a conspiracy. I'm 90% sure that's the reason though. So he went in front of them and said, we don't have anyone available to do these, and it was always bullshit. They just wanted to be able to hire people that were cheaper.
Yeah. He's a that guy is the worst monster out there. He is he's like Paul Harvey is a guy back in the day that would go on the radio and he'd tell these folksy stories that like always were basically conservative parables, and that's what Mike Rowe is. He's a guy that goes out, acts like a folksy dude, but he's just doing conservative parables. He's just doing conservative fables out there for people. Again, his premise of that piece that I read last week was that you, in order to get a job at the movies, you can just start by tearing tickets in the movie theater and then work your way up to having your own TV show on the Discovery Channel. Hello, Ryan, you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I just I'm like, I was looking at at you guys talking, and there's a delay on the Twitch stream.
Yeah, I know. We got it can't get out there instantaneously.
That's yeah, absolutely. That's a limitation
It's a science
of the technology.
thing. It's just a science thing, you know. So what's going on? What else is going on?
I want to apologize.
Please apologize for
just
science.
Two things. There's just two things. Okay. So we all know that this fucking pogromist, okay, this goddamn Nazi, shot up a synagogue, and all of those hooked into this issue know that he was on a website called Gab, and Gab is like Twitter. It's, you know, they got a message, at least they used to. I think there's been some changes, but they used to have a message limit of about 300 characters versus 280 for Twitter.
Yeah, and it was the place, once Twitter started banning some people on the platform, they said they were all going to take all of their time and attention over to Gab, where you could do free speech and shit.
Yeah, Gab seemed like a place for FBI crime statistics and the N-word.
Yeah, well, it's worse than that. Anyway, like Gab's full of Nazis, and there are some visualizations out there now, some data visualizations. There was a team of data scientists, so I'm a data scientist now, and there was a team of data scientists that scraped every single message on Gab up until I think they got around like August 20th or something, before the site went down when they lost hosting after the shooting, and put all those online for like researchers and journalists to look at. And they were doing word clouds where it's like, this isn't a sample. This was like every Gab message. And it's like, if you do a word cloud for oven on a site like Reddit, or Twitter or whatever, you'll see like pizza, cookies, minutes, baking, apron, whatever. You do it on Gab and it's like Jews, kite. I mean, it is like the word, like Holocaust, gas, you know, Zyklon B. It's just a site full of fucking Nazis. So they hide behind hate speech. They're, you know, I know some people who are working on this. Shout out to my comrade from the Facebook group, Matt A, who is involved in this. I just want you to know, if you're out there and like you don't, and it's not clear, right, how we can all fight this rising fascist movement all the time. It's clear, like, when they're going to go out near your home, go out and counter them, sure. But other than that, it's unclear how to fight this, like, rising fascist movement. But I want you to know, to not entirely despair, there are people out there. There are people out there with powerful tools that are fighting this shit day in and day out. Like, they're out there, they're doing it for real. I promise you. So, you know, be bold and be brave, Street Fighters. Like, we're gonna fucking turn this shit around. We're gonna counter these motherfuckers.
For sure. So, what's the goal with all this data, and what do you do with that?
Well, I'm not doing it, but there are a lot of things people can do with it. So, a lot of their sites are getting taken offline. Gab was taken down for a while. Gab is currently being hosted by Cloudflare. Well, no, they're not being hosted by it. Cloudflare is protecting them from, attacks. But there are a lot of sites like, you know, you got the David Dukes, you got the Stormfront. There are all these different sites that make up their network of that make up like their network of propaganda that people are having being taken down and are being exposed, and they've been cut out of. It's like they can't get money anymore. They've been cut out of Patreon. They've been cut out of PayPal, and a bunch of other like they're just people who are shutting down their money and they're hosting.
Right.
And so that's the data goal, and that's not enough. That won't do it by itself, but like that's a part of the fight, right? Like taking down their propaganda and cutting off their funding channels, like, is a part of it.
Yeah, that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So
I always worry about them coming after us on Patreon, so I hate going after Patreons. Although it's the right thing to do, you know, because that Chapo thing happened. You know, he was drunk. Matt was drunk on the air, and
Oh
he
my
said
gosh,
something. It was
yeah.
funny as hell. He was joking. I mean, like nobody believes what he said, but he was shit-faced drunk, and he said something. And Breitbart wrote an article about how, you know, that seems to break Patreon's terms of use, the way that they've knocked right-wing people off the air. And it's like, if you think you can get Patreon to take Chapo off, you're fucking nuts.
Yeah.
Just think about the amount of money. It's a damn business.
That guy's getting a car out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, those fellas. I mean, those folks are pulling down over $1 million a year for them. I don't know what the scrape that. I'm not sure what scrape Patreon is getting, but it's a pretty decent scrape.
10%.
I would think.
Yeah, they get 10%.
They're getting over $100,000 a year off of Chapo.
Yeah, they're making good money. I mean, everybody's making good money in that operation. But yeah, they're making good money. It's that's why, I mean, like these little right wing things. Although Patreon has taken down some, it's going down off.
You're right.
Oh, I know.
there's
I
some
love
things
it going
that.
down.
And that kind of stuff makes me nervous because it's like, what if we say something stupid on this show, like kill Jeff Bezos or something like that?
Something
You
like
would
that. Not that.
never. You would never say such a thing.
We didn't
Come on, be
actually
serious.
say it. It was other people saying it, like about 150 of
Yeah,
them.
Brian,
yelling
I
it
was
and
there. I
chanting
was literally in the room.
I-
I was literally in the room pounding on the wall screaming. I'm aware.
I almost DM'd you guys when you posted that. I was like, come on. Don't.
It was the audience that said it. Me
Well,
and Brett didn't
especially
say
in the
it.
title.
They came up with it.
Yeah,
Well, Ryan, I want to thank you for calling and thank you for what you're doing. We got
Well, I just wanted to say one quick thing.
Okay.
Not a quick. I've been drinking, but I'm not so drunk. I'm going to turn on.
Okay.
The last time I called in, I was in school 1 year ago. My brewing career had just basically collapsed. Like, it just didn't work out. I failed to do it. I failed to get a good career in brewing. And that was after 2 years of trying to make a career in that. After a career in neuroscience research, it collapsed, and I kind of had a bit of a breakdown. But decided, my wife suggested I look into data science, so I did, and I went back to school from that. And that was my last shot, basically, at not just being a dive bar bartender. So I mean, fuck, I got some Adderall, I got a prescription for Adderall, and I went back to a post-baccalaureate program and put in 90 hours a week, and then graduated, and then put in crazy hours and networked and got a job. And I landed a good job, and I've had a good job ever since for months now. And I really thought I'd made it. I wasn't making crazy money, but I was getting a middle class income, and I got a skill that's in demand. And I was like, I'm safe now. Everything is fine. And in the last couple of weeks, this job, it's a startup company, it's in tech. They're getting a little funny with the money. I haven't been paid for days, and they're telling me there's some hack on. They're telling me, it's a hack on the bank. Okay, well, that might delay it a day or two, but there's no way some major bank is cutting their corporate clients out of all money for payroll for many days. So it looks like I'm about to be I didn't make it. I'm once again in the mix, and I'm looking for a job. But here's the deal, fellas.
I mean, it just bees that way.
I know I'm
sometimes.
going to be okay.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to be okay because I believe in myself. And I just wanted to say this is the reason I told all this story, even though it's kind of sad and a little embarrassing. I believe in myself, and I just wanted to say that I believe in every street fighter. If you're out there, this last year, has been one of the hardest of my life, and I made it through because I had community, like, on the Facebook page and listen to the call-in shows. Like, I know there are a lot of, like, people out there around my age, many of them younger, like, fucking fighting to get by and to make a living in this, like, shitty hell world. And we're doing what we're trying to do. You know, we're succeeding where we can. And I believe in you. I believe in you. I believe in every single street fighter to have the hustle and the camaraderie and the community to just fucking pull it out, man, to get it done and to make a life, like, in this difficult hell world. And I just wanted to tell you, like, I believe in every single street fighter, and I believe in you. And that's why I called in.
Thank you. That's very nice. I do too, actually. So, I mean, I was going to say that first, but you kind of stole my thunder and took it away from me. But it's fine. You know, that was like something I was going to say, like at the end of this show. But okay.
Yeah, we actually had somebody in the Discord chat this morning that was in like a huge fight in their relationship, and they kind of broke down and told us what their relationship was like, and everybody just said, like, you have to just get out of it. And even though you have a bunch of excuses why it's going to be hard and it's going to suck, like, you don't want to be living in a hell relationship for one day longer than you have to, you know? So it was kind of good for everybody to chime in and give their best advice and help that person out. I hope they are away from that fucking crazy person.
Yeah, you want to be away from that crazy person. Yeah. I've never been in that situation, but I'm sure Brett hasn't been a million times because he's such a good-looking guy. And
well, we can't all meet our soulmate in the 10th grade, Brian.
Well, senior year.
Oh, I'm sorry.
20 fucking years.
20,
Jesus
20
Christ.
fucking
that is
years.
Crazy.
Yep, I've been married.
How old are you?
I am 39.
God damn.
Yeah, I know. It's just...
Now, hold on, you got married 20 years ago? Or
no, I've been with
years?
my wife for 20 years. We started making out watching...
okay.
We started making out watching Nightmare on Elm Street 5 after I'd made her cry for interrupting me watching wrestling. And it's been a paradise ever since, you know? I guess I should have her on the show one time. And I mean, really is. She just drove her car into a tree in my front yard drunk, and she walked in at the end of Monday Night Raw, and I said, you know you're not supposed to come here during wrestling. Her and my sister, because I, like, lived in a hot couch flop house, you know? And they showed up to drink, and it was, like, 10:55, and I was like, you know you're not supposed to come during wrestling, the most important time of my day. And then she's drunk and she gets all fucking crazy and starts crying in the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, well, I got to go in here and apologize to her. I apologize. I'm like, you want to watch a movie? We watch Nightmare on Elm Street 5. We start making out. Boom. Now I got a child with her.
Nice.
So
it's that easy, folks.
Yeah. Just make a girl cry in your house and then, you know, dial it back in a
Brian,
moment.
that is problematic advice, but I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just a charming guy, to tell you the truth. It's just that's really what worked for me.
Look, the last 15
you certainly
minutes
charmed to me.
is when they hype the storylines for the next episode.
That's exactly
it's the most important part.
That's when Stone Cold Steve Austin is out there doing his thing. You know, Stone Cold Steve Austin's getting ready to come out there on in a big truck and spray beer at Vince McMahon and, like, really just destroy him. And then these two drunk women come walking into my house screaming. And it's like, but one night a week, is off limits because of wrestling. That's just the way I am. Now I don't even watch wrestling anymore.
Yeah, right.
Oh, really? You don't watch wrestling anymore?
Well, I mean, I watch wrestling pretty much every night, but but I like to say that I don't watch wrestling anymore. I actually just scheduled to go on a wrestling podcast next Sunday since we're going to be getting back from Kentucky. I'm like, oh, you want me on your wrestling podcast? Why, of course I will, after a long day of driving.
Well, thanks for calling in, Ryan. We appreciate it.
Good God. Yeah, everybody read my article. Love you all. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Speaking of wrestling, I had the most horrible thought the other day because I heard about that wrestler that retired or something because he has leukemia, I think.
Roman Reigns.
What is that?
Hang up on her.
Drop.
Did you drop all the calls, dude?
Oh, yeah, maybe I did.
No, that's not good. Oh, Oh no!
Now you've
Talk
done
We
it.
for
are
a minute.
in deep shit.
Okay,
I mean, well, I
so-
guess now that there's no calls in the queue, do I need to call back?
So Roman Reigns.
He has cancer. He has leukemia.
Does he? Because my first thought was like, is
Oh,
that
we ran out of money.
Oh shit! Well, get that bread in there, man, quickly.
my first thought was, is this a bit? Like, does he really have
It should
cancer?
auto charge me.
Well, it didn't. That sucks, man. Well, hopefully the people can call back. We're gonna take a break now after Brett gets that bread in that account, and then we will hope that you all call back. I'm very sorry that happened. If you got hung up on, we're not trying to get to go home early again this week. That is not our style. We would never do that. But the screening program that we use ran out of money.
Yeah, and crashed on us. So we're gonna have to do the call-in show again.
Oh. Okay,
You
we're
still
back.
have to call in though, because I don't have the correct setup.
Okay, we're gonna take a
We're gonna-
break.
We're going to take a break. This is a band. If you want to get on Street Fight Radio, send an email to streetfightradio@gmail.com. This is Morning Coup, MOURNINGCOUP.bandcamp.com. Listeners of the show, listen every single week. They got some good stuff. I think you're going to love it. Let me switch this over. Hold on 1 second. Oh, man. This is a clusterfuck of a show. All right. Once I get this plugged in here, you're going to hear the show. Here we go, right here. This is Morning Coup, the song Baby Blue. Thanks for tuning in. If you're on the live stream, you can watch us on Facebook, Twitter, where else? YouTube, Twitch. We're broadcasting live. You can even see the feeds they'll archive. You can go watch them later if you can't be there. The chat's on the screen. Jump in the chat. Get in the conversation. We do this every single Sunday night. We're taking your calls. 614-412-5252 is the number to dial. We are pretty full tonight, so you might want to save it for a later date if you haven't called in yet. We are here on 92.7 or 98.3 if you're inside 270, Columbus, Ohio, WCRS Community Radio out of Columbus, part of the Free Press. No, we're in the Free Press Studios. We're part of the Pacifica Radio Network. My name is Brett Payne. My co-host is Brian Quinby. We have username Joshua from Twitter. Josh, also in the studio with us, chiming in. Good calls so far. We're glad to hear from you. We did have an issue with dumping everybody out of here, but it looks like you're all back in, and we will get to your call. So you ready to tear into these?
Yep, let's get these calls.
You have to talk. You have to get off your phone for a minute and talk so that I can switch the cable over.
Okay, I'm off my phone. I'm just chatting it up. I'm trying to do funny joke, and it's not working out because this website sucks. But yeah, we're gonna get in here. We're gonna take all these calls, and then we're gonna go home, and I'm gonna watch Sons of Mayans and go to sleep.
All right. Thank you for calling Street Fighter Radio. Who are we talking to?
Hey guys, Weed Waffles.
What's up, Weed Waffles? How you doing tonight?
Good. I want to make a quick point. I just realized who Brian reminds you of. Brian reminds you of my father.
I remind a lot of people of their father.
Is that a good or bad thing?
Depends, because on one hand, my father is loving, caring. He's between my two parents. He's been the one that was more understanding of what life was like going into my mid to late 20s. I don't know how to explain it further than that without rambling on.
Right.
But
just knows
but
how
on the other hand,
the nitty gritty.
Yeah, but on the other hand, as I've told you before, because of my dad's screw-ups with him constantly, philandering with women, that thing happened.
So he uses the same pickup tactics as Brian. Is that why he reminds you of him?
Kinda, because you got to understand what my dad was like. Imagine Brian's kind of personality, but make him a 6'5" black man who kind of looks like Wesley Snipes in the face, but has O.J. Simpson's body now.
Okay, I'm kind of seeing that.
Wesley Snipes is cool though.
That's
great Twitter
that's
follow.
what my dad has. He has Wesley Snipes' face, but he's got O.J. Simpson's now's body. Have you seen what O.J. looks like now that he got out of prison?
I haven't kept up with him.
Not great.
Oh no,
probably.
it's easy Google. Just an easy Google. Just Google it real quick, and you'll have a quick understanding of what it is. But anyway, point I want to make, two things. I'm kind of going through the thing of, I was saying, of redeeming myself, so I decided to stop writing for this one site that I wrote for. I won't say the name of the website, but I will say it was thinkreason.com, but if it was more centered for black people.
Okay. Yeah, Reason is bad. Sometimes they're good about cops, I'd say.
Right. They talk about.
But that's not a good thing. That actually leads to my second point that I'm going to get to, but I'll save it. I stopped writing for it because the thing was I kept reading the site. The thing was, the point where I knew I couldn't write for it anymore was I don't have anything against the host of the site, the head of it, even though I would call into his podcast and would obviously write for the website. And I even did an episode of their podcast, which I guess is still kind of popular. But the thing is, I knew I couldn't do it anymore because about a few years ago, I wrote an article for the site that in the black nerd circles is seen as what's an analogy for something that's really popular but clearly evil?
Ready Player One.
Let's go with that. Basically, I made the Ready Player One article about how I said, how black nerd men should probably date interracially mainly. To understand, I now very much hate reading that article, and I understand that like it was a terrible thing to write. It was just
You were trying to be provocative.
It wasn't really provocative. It was provocative, and I had like a lot of like internalized like hate towards like, because the thing you have to understand about the black nerd community is there is some stuff that goes on where there is some like things that go back, but the thing is, the one thing that can't be denied, and I admit this myself, is that I and a lot of other black nerd men say and do a lot of fucked up things towards the women in our community, and that's why things get really like screwy. Like, and I do admit that it's a me problem or that it's a them. Because when you write on a piece of paper down what they did, it's a very passive list of things they do. For us, it's like, yeah, they might choose guys of a different race that might just this and that, but for us, we're literally like endangering their lives, fucking with them. It's like you do like, it wasn't anything particular that made it. It was like, what it was a friend of mine who is a black woman pretty much sat me down and explained it to me. And you do start to put things in perspective.
The article a few years ago, were you against it or for it at the time? I didn't pick that up.
I was saying black nerd men should date interracially. And looking back, it was just one of those things where I read it back, it's like, I was just really fucking angry, and I didn't actually help anything. In fact, there are actually some response articles here and there on the internet, but the thing is, I look back, it was one of those things where, to make it a little lighthearted, you ever just have those moments in your life where things get so bad and you take a canvas of it and all you can hear is like Johnny Cash's cover of Hurt?
Yeah, I know the low points.
Like, it's like you're just sitting there looking at it, and you're like, I'm just looking at my computer screen, looking at all the stuff people had said about me, and it's like, this is as bad as it's got.
Yeah.
And the thing was, the moment I knew I couldn't go back to it, the moment I knew I wasn't going to be able to go back to it, was like the moment, the downfall where I knew it was like I had to start building myself back up. Sadly, was when my like great grandmother passed, but I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah, I mean, I've posted things I didn't feel real good about later. I mean, I sometimes you're just not. I don't know. So I mean, this sort of world that we live in, where like you can get your thoughts out to hundreds of or thousands of people. Sometimes, we're not used to that. I think as a people, as a society, and we're still creating rules around how to do that and what to hold people accountable for.
And as a young person, I think you're also you think that these adults have a handle on the world and they really know something, and that there's certain rules or concepts, things that you understand that are going on about the way the world works, and you try to pinpoint a solution for it, and it's completely ham-fisted, and there isn't really any way to just announce what some group or category of people should be doing with their time, since it's such a different varied degree, who's involved in that group.
Yeah, the thing was, all my friends from college, all the main ones that I like stuck to over the years, they pretty much all at one point sat me down. I was like, look, we told you what to do. We told you how to fix it. So, you can get out of this. It's just going to not be, it's not going to be a quick fix, but it's going to be something you can do. We gave you the way out. So just take your way out of this. And, like, we haven't left you on this. A lot of people haven't left you. You haven't gone that far. Like, I mean, granted, I can't go on Twitter anymore because all my accounts, got suspended when I started to lean into all the bullshit I did, which kind of leads to why I started to leave. Now was I looked at the site and I looked at the kind of people that were writing for the site now, and it was like I can look at the owner of the site and be like, all right, I know you well enough to know that this is how you are, and I understand that you are how you are. To give you an idea how the owner of the site is, he's a Army vet tech bro.
Okay.
Like that just to give you an idea. He's not I wouldn't call him a bad person, but he is someone that you can understand. Like this is why you piss people off.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I couldn't really, do that. And I saw the people who were writing for the site now that sounded a lot like me when I was writing in my heyday for the site, and I was like, I created this. I am why these people are writing this like really fucked up things. Like
well,
I actually caused.
Yeah, I mean, you let yourself off the hook a little bit. It's I mean, those type of ugly opinions are around because people want to hear them and have them confirmed. Oh, you're breaking up. I don't hear you right now. Hold on. You got to repeat yourself. You went out.
I said I do at least admit that this was kind of my fault.
Sure. I mean, you engaged in some shitty stuff, but I mean, I did too. I've done all kinds of regrettable behavior in my life, but it's whether or not you continue or if you're open to change, you're going to eventually, stay. It's easier to stay on the right path the more that you're open and more self-aware. And not closed off and so stridently sure that you know everything about everything and your ugly opinion is the right one,
Like the thing was the final nail. I think and this is kind of a weird thing. The final nail that made me know that I couldn't keep writing this kind of stuff, especially from the site, was when I was with my dad taking care of my nieces. And my nieces asked me what I did for a living, and I kind of skirted around my actual day job because my actual day job is really shitty. And I talked about my writing and stuff I wrote, and it's like, and I kept saying more that I just couldn't. So it was just things. But yeah, I pretty much just gave up on writing and on that, and I'm trying to move things. Now to the second point I want to make. Can I talk shit about cops?
Yeah, we love that. Yeah, we love that.
All right. This is where it gets fun, because I'm sorry about the things getting, really, emotional and all, Linkin Parkish. Here's where things get fun.
No, people like the weed waffle calls.
All right, here's where things get fun. I live in East Lansing, Michigan. For those of you who do not know where that is, obviously Michigan is north of Ohio, where they are, where the lovely hosts of this show are.
Thank you for calling us lovely.
Now, what? I fucking love you guys' show. It's. I listen to you while I'm at work. Okay, I'm just gonna give away what my day job is. I'm a dishwasher, so I need something to listen to. So it's either your show or Chapo. So
our show works real well in the dish tank, I guess.
Yeah, we got a lot of hours you can log listening as well.
Especially because the odds are high
your show,
they're going to talk about a dishwasher.
It's your show or fucking Chapo, and Chapo's wonderful. The problem is that some of the stuff they say on Chapo is so funny that I have to bite my tongue to not look like a psychopath in the tank yelling about how funny somebody is. Especially Felix. I want to say, Felix, if you're listening to this, you made everyone at my job one night think I was having a conniption fit with some shit you were saying about Fortnite. You fucking asshole. But anyway,
he's a funny guy.
Anyway, back to the point about the cops. I live in East Lansing. Now, in East Lansing, within its city limits, there are technically 3 different PDs that go through there. There's obviously East Lansing Police Department. Technically, Meridian PD goes through certain parts, but Meridian PD is more for an Okemos. Okemos is just the land of rich white kids who get away with just psychopathy and rape. It's fucking nutty. Like, if you want a perfect example of what Okemos is like, I don't know if you ever saw it. There's a video on YouTube of some white dudes doing a cover of "Boys in the Hood" by NWA.
Oh dear.
No, I haven't seen that.
I've heard a million different versions of that, and I'm sure it's wonderful.
Somebody did a cover of it on YouTube, and it's just a bunch of just like preppy white dudes, and it's just them doing a cover of this. Basically, what I'm saying is that's a good way to a good analogy of Okemos. In East Lansing, there's them, and then there's MSUPD. MSUPD is a special type of hell because MSUPD is the specific police department of Michigan State University. For those of you who have never out there who are not fully familiar with Michigan State University, they are the college that gave the world Draymond Green, Magic Johnson, Kirk Cousins.
Very successful college football-wise in the 60s because they were...
trying to think of some other people. Andre Rison, yes, that Andre Rison. Trying to think of some other people. Either way, you get the point. They're a Big Ten team, so whenever we play OSU, which they did last Saturday, you fucked us up. Just saying.
You went down, brother.
Like, you literally left us on the field, and I could have swore I heard one of the players yell, "Your mother ain't shit."
A random tidbit is Michigan State won some titles in the 50s and 60s because they would go into the South and recruit young black men before the SEC teams were integrated. So they got a bunch of talent that couldn't play locally because they wouldn't,
Also, yes, I'm going to say this out loud. Yes, I'm aware of the Nassar situation. Nassar is going to prison. He's like, there's nothing like, okay, actually I want to make a quick point about Nassar. A buddy of mine just got out of prison. When he was getting sentenced a few years ago, he got sentenced around the time in Michigan court when he got put in a cell with Nassar, and Nassar freaked out and thought he was going to kill him. The guy came and said, "What are you doing here? He's not supposed to be with anybody." He's like, "Oh, I didn't know. Someone just put me in here." They're like, "All right, we're putting you in the women's cell where we can't leave you with fucking Nassar." Like, true story. He told me about this. But anyway, going back to why I hate MSUPD. I hate MSUPD because they are a special type of incompetent. Because they are like, imagine if like the guys from Super Troopers were given Secret Service tier weaponry.
Yeah, they give those to a lot of campuses.
Campus police, they're strapped up like that?
So's our
Okay,
campus
you have to
police.
understand something very... Okay, Josh, I'm assuming that was your voice I heard on here. Josh, that was you?
Yeah.
That's Josh.
Okay. You have to understand why MSU manages to allocate the money for this kind of stuff. There are so many wealthy students, especially international students. So when they say international students, there are some even dignitaries. Because I remember one of my friends a few years ago when I was hanging out, just dicking around, she was the daughter of a Chinese diplomat. They allocate that money by saying, hey, we need to protect people because we might be stopping an international situation. So they... Okay, which one of you, any of you, three of you play Call of Duty? Any of you?
In the past, not recently, no. But I'm aware of the general concept.
Wait, Josh, you did mention. Did you say you were in the Air Force?
Yes. Unhappy Veterans Day to
Okay,
you all.
this is where I'm going to blow your mind. Some of the weapons they use are some of the tier weapons that they give Air Force base security.
That's kind of absurd for some kids.
Exactly. Fucking exactly. We all can agree that giving a police force in the middle of Michigan on a fucking college campus these weapons is... Ugh. You know how bad they are? You know how bad all the fucking cops in this place are? They're not even... Okay, this is the thing. MSU is one of those colleges where there's always riots, or there used to be a lot of riots.
Yeah,
and
we
one
have
of the
that
running
here.
jokes. Yeah, we have one of the running jokes in East Lansing is jokes about burning couches, because every time some shit goes down, somebody burns the couch. Somebody burns a fucking couch. And the only reason they don't do it in like the middle of like downtown East Lansing anymore is because downtown East Lansing got like heavily gentrified. So like everything around downtown East Lansing is like a bunch of like condos, expensive condos. Plus ELPD is like in the middle of downtown East Lansing. So if some shit goes down, there's already like heavy police presence in that area already. So ain't no shit getting burned in the middle of the town square. But with MSUPD, the problem is they can't carry riot gear anymore. They cannot carry riot gear anymore because the last time some shit went down, which was, I remember it was the last year Draymond played here. When Draymond here, we won a game. Basically, shit was starting to go down, but it wasn't like, it wasn't like the Purge. It was more like, dumb white kids throwing cans and jumping around and fighting and shit like that. Something that you could easily break up with, like, cops on horseback, basically.
And
like,
so, I mean, I guess I don't know where. So what have they done with the weapons? Have they done anything with the weapons so far?
Oh, they stopped being allowed to use them because when the shit went down, a bunch of them just geared up, went into like downtown East Lansing, and just started pepper spraying the fuck out of people.
I'm honestly shocked that their response to that was to not let them do it again. I don't know.
Well,
I just would have guessed that some old people would have been like, "Well, those young hoodlums, they should not have caused a disturbance."
It was white kids. They kept pepper spraying white kids, and that's why they got taken away because they literally showed up in the middle of the shit, and all that would have been missing would have been like MOP's Ante Up playing. So they just got out and just started like clotheslining people with the fucking baton and pepper spraying people. It was like, and I know it's because my job is in the middle of downtown East Lansing, so I'm looking out the window while we're trying to close up for the night, and it's like, I'm just like seeing the cops just like straight up just. I was waiting for one of them to drop kick the motherfuckers. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, they do the same thing here. We've had a few. Usually, if a couch gets set on fire, horses go through the crowd and they get out those big ass cans of pepper spray that have like a big handle on it where they can just like fog everybody. They haven't done it this year, but when was the last time they did that?
I think they whipped out the pepper spray 4 years ago now when the football team won the title.
Oh.
I think High Street got hit.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay, here's the thing, and it's just, and now I'm going to get to the story of why I personally hate them. So there's a parking tower in East Lansing on Grand River, on the side of where MSU is. Me and two other friends parked over there. We got out. We were talking. We see a cop coming up the ramp with like a dog. All right, so you're clearly guarding this place. All right, cool beans. We start walking out. We see two cops at the end. So we just sort of dip off and we take the door out of the building rather than walk through the entrance. Now, we are walking, and I won't try to lay out the geography of the place because I don't know how many listeners here are from East Lansing or from the area,
Yeah.
so it's not going to make much of a difference. We get to a street down the road. I'm not even bullshitting. We get on the street, like 5 MSU BD trucks. So keep in mind, MSUP, unlike like ELPD that drives like a normal cop car like an Explorer, like these motherfuckers drive like 2005 Suburbans.
Oh, nice. With like the big grill
Like
on
they
the
drive
front?
those big, huh?
With like the big guard on the front, the huge steel ramming shit.
Yes. Fucking yes. And they drive up with 5 of those things. So I'm looking at one of my friends, the one I know is like probably has drugs, and I look at him like, nigga, if you got drugs, I'm snitching you out right now. I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm just giving it a look like I don't know what the fuck happened, but like I don't know what happened. So anyway, I just stand still because I've never been in this sort of situation. About 2 seconds later, one cop gets out. Okay, which one of you said you watch wrestling?
I watch wrestling.
All right, remember, you know that move with the 619 that Rey Mysterio does?
Yep.
Love it.
The cop did that to me.
To you?
He did that to me first.
Like they were.
That's the fuck.
They were on your. They were
Yes.
like casing. They were out to get you.
Okay, there was all 3 of us. They kicked me first. They put the other 2 on the ground. The first one kicked me straight in the fucking head.
Damn.
From like around a corner or something, or like swinging off a light pole.
No, it was like a single motion. He got out the car and
Just the John Claude Van Damme spin, getting the
Yeah.
elevation.
Booted you right in the head.
it was literally first let me hop out the motherfucking Porsche. Bam! I was on the ground like, I hate everything right now. And of course, while I'm on the ground, I'm saying to myself, I said out loud, "You mother ain't shit." Like, you know?
So did they charge you with
So
something?
Well, the thing was, they thought we were breaking the cars. This is where it gets. This is where the story goes completely bullshit. Because now they didn't even cuff us, but now they're like searching all of us and everything. But with me, I guess because I'm technically the biggest out of all of us, not the tallest. Just I look like if some shit goes down, I'm like the muscle. So they are on my ass the most.
Yeah, they
the
had
cops
to
on me.
neutralize the threat.
Yeah, they're on me. I'm not resisting. This is where things get out of hand. I know they're searching me, but at one point I start to feel something poking me in the leg, and then I feel something poking me in my ass. And I look back, and I clearly see that this cop has his gun pointed in my ass.
What? Really?
Okay, I knew it wasn't a taser because I've held a taser pistol. I've held one of those, so I know it's bulky. So if something like that, yes, you're going to feel like what basically feels like somebody trying to stick a remote in your ass. When someone tries to stick a gun in your ass, you know someone's trying to stick a gun in your ass.
Sure, I can see that. Yeah, that's
So now
that's
he has
fucked
a-
up. What are they saying? Get on the fucking ground. Don't move.
Yes, like, and then he's got the gun in my ass, and he's like, I couldn't make out fully what he said because my head still hurt from getting kicked in the fucking head. And he said something, insert N-word here.
What?
I'm like, I hate. So I'm just like, I hate everything.
God
I
damn.
hate everything right now. I'm just laying there like if I gotta go to jail tonight, I'm gonna be. I don't know who I'm gonna call. And I'm thinking to myself, wait, couldn't you just call Mom? It's like, no. If I have to call Mom, number one, I can't call Mom because she's going to make a scene. Number two, Mom is going to have to leave her purse in the car because she has a 6-hour 45 in that bitch. So,
Yeah. There was a guy I worked with in Texas that got pulled over, and he came in the next day, and he had a boot print on his neck. Like where they had like stood on his neck after pulling them over. Yeah, that's fucked up, dude.
and they pull me up. They pull up my bag, and they're going through. My medications are in there, so they're going through, and my name's clearly on them. So I'm like, and they're like, "So who's Howard Smith?" Raise his hand, and they're like, "Can I see some ID? Can I pull it out slowly?" And they're like,
there might be
like,
fentanyl
"Don't."
in that wallet. You want to proceed carefully. Don't want to get some deadly opioids on your fingertips.
And you want to know the fucked up part was? He clearly fucked up my glasses. Not broke, just fucked up with the way I couldn't wear them the rest of the night.
That sucks ass. God damn.
So now I'm proving to them that these are my medications and everything. So I'm like, and they're like, sorry, we were proving things were, we had a rash of break-ins and we were just checking up on things. And I'm like, I'm just standing there like, I think I taste pennies.
Yeah, I mean, you got checked on for sure. They checked on you.
They kicked you in the head. That's how you check on somebody. You kick them in the head and see where that goes. See where this takes us.
Oh, they didn't get kicked in the head like a guilty person would.
Yeah. They kicked you in the head like somebody who was investigating.
Well, keep in mind, this was like all three people who got stopped by the cops. All three of us are black men, so that should tell you where the fuck this is going.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Oh, sure, yeah.
For sure.
The thing was, the final point I want to make is, what makes me mad is, I never wanted to be the person who watched themselves get kicked in the face. But that was me literally that night. I literally watched myself get kicked in the face. I saw the car pull up, stop, slow down, and the door open, and the cop get out, get on one foot, twist, raise his foot, and get me square in the side of my head. And all I'm thinking of while I'm getting hit in the head is, while I'm about to go down, is just all around me are familiar faces. And like I hate everything right. Like I have become what I hate. Everything.
You should.
This is my life now.
You should have showed him your article about dating interracially and see if that changed the treatment.
Oh boy.
And I said, and when they finally left me alone, I was like, I just was being a smart ass to him, being like, look, can someone explain to me how y'all managed to trick Michigan State into giving y'all base security tier weapons? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You have grenade launchers.
Yeah.
I know you have grenade launchers.
Responded to some break-ins in an M1 Abrams tank.
Like, you have grenade launchers. You have at least 3.
Man, that's fucked up, dude. Thanks for calling in. We appreciate it. We got to get to the rest of these calls. As always, that was a good Weed Waffles call.
All right. One love.
Good night.
Peace.
Worn out places. Worn out places.
He really buried the lead.
Mad world.
I can't believe. I don't know. If a cop tried to shove a gun up my bum, it like I would have gotten to that. Like, he buried the lead, I think.
Well, I mean, you didn't think. I didn't know how far it was going to go, right?
Sure.
You never know.
You never know with Wee Waffles.
yeah,
Wee Waffles will tiptoe right up to the edge and sometimes cross it and then sometimes cross back over, though, by apologizing. So that's the Wee Waffles experience, you know?
Absolutely.
Let's get some more calls. We gotta
gotta
tear through these calls.
Everybody's trying to get in.
Everybody's hot and heavy. They're like, they're not gonna be doing shows for 3 weeks in a row. I gotta call it now.
Thanks for calling Street Fighter Radio. Who are we talking to?
Hello?
Howdy.
This is Hank from Detroit of the Jimmy John's and Campus Nazi story.
What's up, Hank? How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I called in to complain, not about the show, obviously. Love the show. But, they say if you don't vote, you can't complain. Well, I did vote, and I do want to complain.
Yeah,
that's all right.
You're allowed to, apparently.
You get to go and stop everybody at the water cooler and say, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, but I want to complain.
Yeah. You got to do this at parties now, too. That's what I'm going to do. I'm like, well, I haven't voted since 2010, so I thought I'd step in here and complain real quick. Feels real nice to be able to, like, legally or whatever, so I'm going to do it.
Jane, you at one point mentioned on one of my Facebook screeds that I did not vote, so I couldn't complain. I wanted you to know I'm back in the game.
I voted. It's complaining time.
I do vote. Like whenever I'm able to, if I think it's important enough. Like I don't vote on every like school board election, and I even held my nose and voted Democrat most of the time.
I did too.
But there's okay. You're just as guilty as me if they end up being terrible like they are.
Well, yeah, I did this time, but I won't do it again. I will never. I mean, like, look, they told me this was the most important election of our lifetime, so I was like, all right, you got me there. I'm gonna go ahead and vote, but the next one can't be as important, right? Like the next election, this one was the most important.
One's less important, yeah.
Yeah.
I was even more excited, like our ballot issues, because I wanted legal weed.
Nice.
I want to end gerrymandering, and I want same-day voter registration.
So what did y'all get there?
The actual. So weed's going to be legal if you're 21 and older. The stores aren't going to be set up till at least next year. But
we will be spending a lot of time. We will be doing a lot of Michigan shows starting next year.
Yeah, you got to now. You have no excuse now.
Other than we can't find a venue.
The Majestic will do it. That's where Chapo had their show.
Oh, well, if Chapo had their show there, then we might need something a little smaller.
Okay. The Magic Stick, which is next door and above a bowling alley.
Okay, that sounds more street fight size. And the name, the Magic Stick.
That's where I go to all my punk shows. Nice. So
that's us.
That sounds it. Okay,
that's street fight.
I'll look that one up.
We'll work on it. So what else did you want? So let me ask: did y'all end gerrymandering up there?
Oh yeah, that passed with flying colors. I mean, it's, our state senate could always try and amend it.
Oh, they will.
But I don't. Well, they did that. We were going to have a ballot issue about the minimum wage to get it up to I think $12, because right now it's stuck at 10, right?
Better in Ohio,
and
but yeah.
They said. Well, the Senate took it up so that they can amend it now. So now instead of 12, they're probably going to say, "Oh, well, it'll be 11 eventually."
Yeah,
because they do not want us to raise that minimum wage.
Well, no, they don't.
Anything resembling like a reasonable one.
They're like, we will raise it, but we ain't gonna give you what you asked for. You want 12? How about 11?
Right. It's like, well, we need like 15, and we're asking for 12, and we're going to get 11. Like, it's just nonsense. But another thing I do, so I live in Detroit for school purposes, but I vote in a suburb, St. Clair Shores, and they had a ballot issue to make it so you could be 21 and run for city office.
Cool.
Right? And that went down in flames. Like,
what?
I don't, that, Yeah, that really pissed me off because in Michigan you can be 21 and run for state office, like state house, state senate. But in my town of like 60,000 people, you gotta be 25 to be a city councilman.
Well, I can explain that for you. They don't want you guys using the whole city budget on avocado toast.
Yeah, right. Well, yeah, right. Of course, you know we need them to waste it on boondoggles for whoever donated the most to the campaign, or
they don't want you to bring in Lil Uzi Vert to sing the national anthem at your inauguration.
The fire department's got no water. They spent all the money on the Snapchats and the
oh my God,
and the Juul pods.
I'm sure that's how it went.
Yeah.
That was the debate.
You're gonna set up a fire festival.
Turn this goddamn city into Coachella.
That guy
We
went
don't
to
need
jail
that.
recently.
I mean, it would put us on the map. People would know who we are instead of, oh yeah, that suburb that's just north of Detroit.
See, that's why you're not going to be able to get elected. You can't say, this city might be better if it was Coachella. That's not something the olds are going to vote for. I guess it's true.
Worse. Our biggest business is just resale outlets as people flee the city. So, so it's like, it can't get worse. I don't know.
I'm with you.
It might not get better, but
Brett, let's run for governor and turn Ohio into Coachella.
It'll work.
All right.
People love that shit.
Year long.
I'd set foot in Ohio to knock on doors for you.
Yeah,
which is not something I want to do, but
turn the entire state into Coachella, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's how we'll be living. Sounds like something we can try,
Nice.
I've never been to Coachella.
Well,
I went to Woodstock 99. I don't think that's the example you want to set.
Probably. Yeah, I want fewer assaults and less arson.
Yeah.
That's best.
Oh, look, now the anti-arson lobby's
fewer
getting out
assaults,
here.
yes. I don't know how I feel about limiting arson.
I know somebody from Michigan, the home of Devil's Night, yelling at us about arson.
Well,
I've seen the
Devil's
crowd.
Night, I was kind of disappointed this year. Well, I shouldn't say that because there's real people that are affected by that. But it's like, people on Twitter, on Michigan Twitter, are like, "Oh, Devil's Night," and I'm like, it's not the 90s anymore, guys. Like, really, there's not that many abandoned buildings left to burn down. So
they all gotta, yeah. Did you? I tweeted this week, Brett, and I don't think you know this. So over on Ohio State campus, there is a mixed-use condo development called Luxe, Luxe, Bell, Belle. And in the lobby, they have a Taco Bell cantina. It serves alcohol.
Nice.
Lux Bell. So at least stopping gerrymandering and getting free, or I said free weed. It's like, damn, y'all voted for free weed.
Yeah, that's the proposal that's going to be up 2 years from now.
Yeah,
smart.
I'm sure.
Yeah, but y'all did good up there. I definitely want to get up there when you legalize. My wife already said, do you think they'll have it by like next summer? Then we could do like a trip up to Mackinac Island and
maybe
get high
it's Mackinac.
Mackinac.
You're gonna be marked as an outsider if you say Mackinac.
Yeah,
Mackinac's funner.
I'm starting to get more. I just mentioned that this week to the wife. I was like, okay, I'm more open to vacations now, like a cruise, Hilton Head, something like that. Because now I'm not panicking, thinking I'm gonna die having never seen this country. I'm gonna see the whole thing now.
Okay.
So now I'm like,
yeah, Mackinac's great. You got to get some of that fudge, get some of that biking in, see the the wonderful nature.
Get probably shit-faced drunk, I'm sure too. That's like kind of the place,
sure.
right?
Don't step in any horse shit while you're there though, because that's they have no cars.
Don't tell
all
me
horse
what to
and
do.
buggies.
Yeah, Josh loves horse shit. Now you got him feeling all bad about himself. Kink shaming.
Oh, darn.
Well, hey, thanks.
Well, I have one.
Go ahead.
I've just one last thing. So I'm a DSA guy, right? And there was a DSA candidate that ran in Ann Arbor, and he was running as an independent, right? Because the Democrat was linking to InfoWars, talking about why we have so many abortions because we let too many immigrants in the country.
The Democrat?
And this is the Democrat. Yeah, and he won by like a landslide out in Ann Arbor, which just blows my mind.
Yeah, I mean the Democrats.
But, you know,
the Randy G. Dub tweet is the real thing, and it's the Democrats are going to take a hard look at themselves and decide that they have to be more racist. It's
Right,
the
but I'm
number one
like,
tweet ever.
The Alex Jones Democrat, I didn't think that was a demographic that existed.
I think
I'm a
that's
Democrat, but I think lizard people did 9/11. You know?
Yeah, that's probably. I mean, you know what the Democrat thing is, and I'm cribbing. I heard this on Pod Damn America, and this is just something that they said. They said the Mueller thing is the Democrats like QAnon is their like big thing. Like it's gonna take everybody down. This fucking Mueller.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I was like, holy shit, that's what it is.
No, I mean, I was at the playground and I had someone that said, like, I'm just melting down over this Jeff Sessions firing. Our fucking country's on fire right now. I can't even concentrate. I'm like,
For Jeff Sessions?
Yeah, we're here at the playground doing the same shit we do every day. We'll go home and make the same damn dinner.
He's gonna fire Mueller,
Like-
dude.
Saves your pity for some deserving people. I mean, come on.
The libs, they just like anybody. Their whole politics is not Trump. Like I hate this this Cheeto. We don't need to do anything good. We just need to do not him. I mean, it's been their thing for years. But yeah, they like anybody who's against Trump, even if it's an elvish, like racist person. They are like, I was explaining to my wife about him, how he was like, how he said, like, you know, I tried to get into KKK. I was really digging those guys. They were really cool, but they're gross because they smoke weed.
Yeah. That was his hang
Right.
with the Ku Klux Klan.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only story you have to tell people, though, normal people, and they'll be like, oh, fuck Jeff Sessions. Who cares, you know?
Of course. Well, you know, when you're a socialist, you got a lot of love in your heart for the people that need it, but you got to have a lot of hate for the people that deserve it, too.
True.
And,
so true.
That's a good motto.
All right,
you should
well-
take that to the DSA. that motto.
I'm going to take that when I run for mayor.
As a socialist, I love a lot of people, but there are people that I hate. And then just have a list of the people that you hate that people can come and add to.
My enemies list, but it's not like Richard Nixon's. It's going to be public.
Yeah, I think you should run, and I think you should turn the neighborhood you grew up into Coachella. That's how I feel right now. All right, thanks for calling in, Hank.
Yep.
All right.
Have a good night, you guys.
Yeah, peace out.
Next call.
Peace.
Next call.
Next. We missed it, dude.
We missed it. We missed Tenacious D. Yeah, we did.
We couldn't come up with $400 to see Tenacious D.
The D, as they call him. I've seen him live once already, so I'm not like dying, but I wish I could have gone.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hey, is this me?
That's you. You're you.
And only you can answer that question, really.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tom. I'm in the Facebook group from New Jersey. I called in a couple weeks ago about the artisanal cheese shop.
Hell yeah. We love yeah.
Getting fired from there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what do you got going on now? What's going on?
Well, exactly right now I just took a little bit of Kratom and I'm watching the first Cloverfield movie.
Oh, that movie rules. Have you seen it yet?
I love that movie. Yeah, I've seen it like 3 times already, but
It's
like
good.
I fucking love it. It just went on Netflix, so like I was just like, hell yeah! While I was waiting on the phone, I was like, I'm gonna watch that shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna, now that I know that it's on there, I'm gonna watch it again. It's a good one. I
Yeah,
love when they
no,
pull
it's
away.
super cool.
The way that they pull away and the way that they just let you fill it all in your head. Brilliant.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do they show the monster, though?
Yeah, they do.
Briefly.
Okay,
At
good.
the end.
Oh, briefly. No,
You
I
get
didn't.
to see him at the end, and you get to see all these there's parasites that live on the monster, which are like these little fucking bugs that gobble you up.
Okay.
So there's a lot of build up.
I'll check out Cloverfield on Tom's recommendation, not on yours. Just saying. I'm nicer to the listeners. So what's up, man?
So I kind of in regards to a few threads I've seen on the Facebook group. I kind of want to talk about firefighters.
Okay. I like them. For the record, I'm pro firefighter currently, unless you talk me out of it.
So, I mean, like, I don't know if this is just a suburban thing or, like, if there's a difference between, like, suburban and, like, more urban firefighters or, like, whatever. But, I don't know. Like, so the thing, my opinion, personally, is that, I don't know, the job itself is extremely necessary, but it tends to attract a lot of fucking fashy people. Sure. And like it's like almost like dudes who are either like on the road to become cops or like are just like too like quote unquote cowardly to actually become cops.
You don't think that maybe they're the people that like have cop tendencies, but are like, I can't be a cop because they're fascist? Like, that's what I always felt like with the firemans.
No, I mean, I think it's a little self-righteous. The ones that I've known, firemen dads that I've been around, they all think they're like, well, I mean, I save people's lives.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
do go head first into danger. That's something I do.
Full disclosure, my father-in-law that I argued with a couple weeks ago was a firefighter for years.
Okay.
Right.
Now you got some skin in the game.
All right. Yeah. No. I mean, like, I kind of have like a strong opinion about it, just because. So my uncle he's a volunteer. So I live in the suburbs of. So I'm in New Jersey, and I live in the suburbs of New York, and so my uncle is a firefighter, and like just seeing all the shit that he would post on Facebook, it's like extremely reactionary. And so I don't know, like a lot of the kids like I went to high school with who became firefighters, like they're all like chuds, and like they all like have the worst politics, but like the job that they do, I mean, they're not paid for it. It's all volunteer around here. Is extremely necessary. It's just like the fact that the people that it attracts, because they're kind of in this whole first responder culture. Yeah, is the people they attract are just like extremely like fashy.
Well, it's kind of a thing built. It's kind of like a patriarchal type thing where we have the idiots online that flame out because they can't be heroes and they can't live up to any sort of manly status. Yeah. But like if you go and become a firefighter, then you're officially like doing some manly man shit, you know? Because I have to say, I just thought of another real bad Republican great-grandpa that was a firefighter as well.
Right. I think that first responder, I mean, look,
they're on the T-shirts too. They add a red line to those American flags now.
Yeah, no, yeah, they do. Yeah.
I guess like being like, it is like a tough job. It's like a tough person job. I think, you know.
I mean, most of it's making chili all day.
Right.
Sure.
But I mean,
and lifting weights.
When it is tough, it is a tough person job,
yes,
right?
It is.
Like those.
Yes.
I'm not trying to like glorify anybody, but those 9/11 guys did get killed in that thing. Like a lot of them went in there, and like that building collapsed on them.
Yeah.
You know.
Well,
but
and that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, especially since I'm in the suburbs of New York City, like there's a lot of like 9/11 remember kind of shit. Like around here, like there's my uncle. He named his daughter after this guy who got killed during who fighting, like not fighting, but like got killed like trying to save people in 9/11. Who was a firefighter who came from out here into the city to firefight during that whole situation.
Right.
But like in this whole area, there's a lot of people who know like firefighters that died during that whole operation, and it sucks that that happened to them, and like that attack whole thing was a tragedy, but like at the same time, like it informs their politics in the wrong way.
Yeah,
Right.
And it
become
leads them to become
Rudy
it leads them
Giuliani's.
hate. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's like because some people ran into that building, and we have a terrorism problem in this country. We need to just own up to it. They're the first people that are saying like America needs to admit it's got a terrorism problem.
Right, and there is also that thing of like the contempt that they have. I feel the same contempt that police have for the people that they like save or whatever, like where it's like it was just some dumb fucking idiot, poor person put a heater on top of a blanket because they didn't pay their electric bill. You know what I mean? Like they'll tell you these like really fucked up stories about the fire, and they'll have this like disdain for the people that they save. I really think that macho attitude is the issue there, right? Like the first responder thing, like we accept a sort of macho tough guy posturing from them that we don't allow anywhere else, because I think we think that's necessary to do these things when it's really like, it's hurting. It may be okay, cool. You're stopping fires, but your rhetoric and your memes and your politics are hurting everybody. And it's the same thing with the police.
Yeah.
It's like, even if you go in to be a cop so you can stop people from doing child abuse, you're still like doing horrible shit. And like that macho attitude of the police is like what killed Eric Garner. Put a guy in a chokehold because I can. There's a guy in Columbus. There was a Columbus cop that actually told a guy, I could put you in a chokehold right now if I wanted to. I could choke you out. And it's like, maybe, this is like political correctness gone mad, and it's a nightmare for any Republican to hear me say this, but we do sort of need to like kind of de-macho-fy the first responder culture. Same with the Army. You know what I mean? We just just let them get away with so much stuff because we assume that's their thing. We assume that's so that's why I think it happens. I admire somebody that's willing to go and do the work, but I do recognize that we have a real problem with that shit.
Well, and the thing about it too, and I'm actually reading this really great book called The Will to Change by Bell Hooks, and it explains that men are only allowed to express themselves in violence. Really, is the only acceptable emotion way that we're allowed to express emotions. And so these people are in the most macho things, and so when it comes to their politics, it's just like fucking genocide anybody that doesn't get with the program. Like when that's the macho attitude to most things. And that's what comes with that territory.
That's it. Well, thanks for the call. I'd like to hear from other people on the firefighter thing, because
I know the ones I know are bad. I met some decent ones.
Started.
Cool. Yeah, we're definitely. I'm interested in having a conversation.
I wanted to like start it because I mean like that's the thing about like when you talk about cops, it's kind of like the job itself, like most of it is maintaining the status quo and all that, and but it also and it's problematic in itself, but it also attracts like these really also problematic people, whereas firefighters, they the job itself is a very necessary thing, but it also attracts those same type of people who are attracted to fire to being police officers.
Yeah, why can't it attract? Why can't why does the job okay, look, the job is about stopping fires and about saving people, but the job could also be about caring about those people that you save. Like, it doesn't just have to be about stopping and stopping the fire. Like, oh, I go there and stop the fire. Fuck the people, I get them out of the house, I set them down, and that's it, Like, and that's what I feel like that macho sort of attitude is. It's like, I can only go do the violent part of this, which is fighting the fire and rescuing the people. Then I feel great. I feel like a hero. But it's like, what about like, there's like you would want there to be other aspects of this job. You would want to think, but you would
it's
want.
It's mostly like coming up on somebody that hit their head, they fell down and hit their head and shit like that.
Right, but you would want them you would want them to care about the people that they're saving, like to feel affection for the people that they're saving. I feel as though you would, and I feel like that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for calling.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
definitely would love to talk about that some more. Thanks for calling in.
Yeah, no, if
Oh shit! Sorry, I thought he was over with. I dropped him.
I don't hate firefighters though. I think
No, I know.
I mean, but it is. He's right. Like there are a lot of people who are like.
But I know. I mean, I also know nurses that are like that too, where you just see some really fucked up parts of society when you're dealing with people in those because that's who has to go to the hospital. People in fucked up situations. You know,
People not at their best time. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it just built up this like crust on your body or on your mind where you just think people are all fucking gross.
Yeah, or the people that like work for the foods, like for like getting food stamps to people, the Department of Agriculture and stuff. You'll always hear like, my friend knows somebody that works there, and they say that people are always coming in there and faking and shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't know shit about anything, and your friend's an idiot, and they shouldn't be doing the job.
Yeah.
They shouldn't work there. They should be somewhere else if they
Right.
don't give a shit about those people.
This is my, I don't know shit, but the way I've always thought about it was like, the firefighters save lives and police officers take lives. Like, the first police officers were like, Nelson Rockefeller needed someone to like, when his employees were like, hey, can we work less than 8 days a week? He's like, all right, I need someone to beat the shit out of these people.
Right.
But then like firefighters were like, this is on fire. It's got to be put out.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's advocating to abolish the fire department. You know what I mean?
No, that's true. It is a different institution, but it does involve a lot of really dumbass shit.
Right.
I
I definitely agree as far as like attracting macho types.
All right, let's see who's on the phone here next. We got some calls to get to. I hope this doesn't drop again because we're about to run out of money again. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hi, it's Elizabeth.
Oh,
What's up,
yay.
Elizabeth? Hey, is Milo there, or can you ask Milo a question for us?
Yes. What's up?
Are they so? We asked this on the Basement Show that hasn't released yet, but me and Brett are curious of whether Jehovah's Witnesses are allowed to go to a winter celebration as long as it's not Christmas or Hanukkah or anything. It's just straight up we're having a time here because it's the winter time.
Let me check real quick.
Okay.
Hey, Milo. Are Jehovah's Witnesses allowed to go to, like, winter celebrations? Like, it's not Christmas, it's not Hanukkah, it's just, like, winter.
That was a good recap.
All right. They're coming.
Okay, good. This is important to us. We thought we might have found a workaround for the schools. Because like when I went to school, the Jehovah's Witnesses kids used to have to go stand in the hallway, and I always felt sort of bad for them. I was like, well, we could just call this like Winterfest, the winter party.
We weren't allowed to have Halloween in school.
Hi, it's Milo.
Milo so we need to know if you were in school, right? And they were like on the last day of school before winter vacation. If they were like, we're having a winter party, would you be allowed to do that?
Well, technically, yeah.
Okay.
It's not associated with, like, any Christmas stuff. Of course, if, like, some Jehovah's Kids parents were, like, mine, they would still kind of see through it and say, no, that's pretty much Christmas. Are you trying to stare? Do you want to die?
That's not fair. I mean, we're all trying here. But that's like one of those things where it's like we're trying to include everybody, still fails.
Yeah, can't get everybody in there.
Thank you for answering that.
Can't please everyone.
It's fine. No problem.
It's Brian.
Well, what's going on, Elizabeth?
Well, so back on the firefighter thing for a second.
I saw this tweet one time that was like, there's a reason that no one has made a song called "Fuck the Fire Department," right? And it's like, well, that's true. I feel very similarly to how I think the last caller did. But we also have to look at like the racist practices of like different fire departments. like, because there has been a history of like fire departments just not going to black parts of town.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Or hiring
and just,
black
you know,
firefighters.
Right. Yeah. So, you know, I don't know a ton about it, but you know, just thought throw that in there.
Yeah. Thanks for that. Street Fighter is always good for reminding us the really bad stuff about things.
So we did the weed.
Oh yes!
Wow.
They did the weed.
What kind?
Oh, you know, the weed. I have no idea.
Okay. You
it
just
was
hit
out
some
of,
weed.
One hitter.
How was it? How did you like the weed, Elizabeth?
I'm gonna fire up my weed just in celebration.
Mine's sitting in front of me. I might hit it.
It ruled.
Yeah.
It's great. I get it.
What did you end up doing? The first time I smoked weed, I ate a whole box of fudge sickles, and I did it to the point where my tooth scraped against my upper lip, and it was swollen like to 3 times its size.
God, I love fudgesicles.
Fudgesicles are so fucking good. God, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we just hung out. We tried to watch The Thing. Didn't really, because, you know, we were high. So it took, like, 10 minutes to get through 30 seconds.
Okay, yeah.
I got freaked out at one point.
Yeah, like at the blood testing part?
No. I've seen the movie before. But, no, this was, like, something else. This was actually before we even started watching.
Oh.
I got freaked out for, like, a minute because I thought my cat teleported.
Dude,
like he was in the bedroom, and like I was high, so I thought he was disappointed in us for smoking weed.
Yeah,
your cat went to
I thought
dare.
him going into the bedroom, and so I was like, "Hey, it's okay if you want to sleep in here. If you don't want to hang out with us, I'm really sorry." And then, like, all of a sudden, he was like, I'm sure he just walked through my legs, but, like, he was just behind me, and I thought he teleported, and it really freaked me out.
That's a good freak out, though. It's better than the other ones that people have sometimes. It sounds like you had a good getting high experience. I just saw, I'm going to read this thing this person on Nextdoor posted recently. I got this in one of my chats. Somebody sent it to me, and this person said, "I'm thinking about taking a walk. No, would it be weird if I went and took a walk around my neighborhood? I'm wearing jeans and a sweatshirt, and I just want to know if it would be weird." And then it said, "Edit. Sorry, I got a little paranoid when I got stoned last night."
Yeah, it does seem weird. You can
it
just go
was
out
nice.
there. You can go out there if you want. Yeah, I actually.
It was like
I had a moment today where I was folding socks, and all of a sudden I had 2 pair of the same unique socks, like socks that I only ever had one, and there was 2 pair of them, and I felt like I was in a horror movie when like shit starts getting, you know what I mean, like the first indication that shit's about to go wrong.
Weird.
Yeah. I think it's just that they're so similar, and they've never been at the same. It's in the same place at the same time was what got me.
Yeah. I mean, that'll get you. Weed will do that to you.
I tell you what, my heart is broken.
Yeah.
This narcotic destroying your minds.
It is.
Just our caller just smoked their very first marijuana cigarette.
You think you're gonna smoke again, Elizabeth?
Oh, for sure.
Have you drank?
Yeah,
Is this like your first like thing? Period.
Yeah. Just I don't really have an interest in drinking,
It
just because
sucks.
of like some family stuff, and like, just also it just doesn't seem that appealing.
It's
Like,
gross.
even besides that,
You see people who drink, and you're just like, that doesn't look fun at all to me. I'm the same way. I just don't even have interest in it. I wish I did. I wish I could like fit in with people and sit down and grab a beer, but I don't like it at all.
I gotta stick up for the drunks in the house and say it can be done right, and at a young age it's done very wrong, and done a lot it will do a lot of damage. But goddamn, there is nothing cures the blues like motherfucking alcohol, dude. Nothing can turn like you start drinking some booze and you'll just start like swinging your hips and dancing with the lamp and shit. You can make your own fucking fun out of nowhere.
Yeah, alcohol, because weed does not help with the blues.
No, weed doesn't change your mood. I was telling to my drug dealer, I was like, man, one thing I know about weed is that it is not like a crutch for my mood. Because if I'm depressed as fuck and smoke some weed, I'll just be extra depressed as fuck. I'll be like supercharged depressed as fuck.
It does. It just supercharges whatever your feelings are at that moment.
Right.
Isn't that a Dave Chappelle bit?
Yeah.
I don't know. You accuse me of stealing jokes?
Yeah.
Not that. Just
First Weed Waffles says, if I ever need to listen to something and not laugh, I listen to you guys, because if I listen to Chapo, I laugh too hard. And now this.
You're not ripping it off. I think that's a bit of his where he like I smoke, if I get high with a white guy, he's just like, gosh, me and my dad, we don't really get along.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't, like it doesn't make you, yeah.
I get introspective when I get high. I was just complaining to my wife about my parents the other day, and she was just like, you got to let it go. And I was like, you know what? You're exactly right. I have got to let it go. And guess what? I fucking can't.
I made it this far, and I still haven't.
Yeah. I just keep thinking, because now, like, all of my, like, animosity toward them, and I mean, if there's family stuff from drinking, you probably might have the same experience, Elizabeth, is that like all my animosity towards them, I try to say like they're different people. It's been 20 years since I was 19, when they kicked me out of the house, and
yeah,
they're just, but I just can't. I'm like, I guess having a kid myself has got me being like, if I can do it, you should have been able to do it.
No, but you got to forgive him. You forgive everybody else that you stick up for on this show. You got to forgive him for being one of the same fallible people that we talk about on the fucking show. And they just happen to be your fucking parent.
Yeah, I know. I should forgive him. It's impossible.
You can forgive him, but that doesn't mean you have to like fucking like him. Like,
no, you don't have to say it's
for
so. Give it
me-
a stamp of approval. It just gets
For me,
rid
it's
of
like,
the anger.
okay. Yeah, it's like, okay, you did this thing. You fucked up some stuff, like, in a huge, major way. And I don't really want, like, much to do with you, And, like, it's like, okay, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's life.
Yeah, I agree. I need to.
I want to do some fucking personal development shit next week, because I was also yelling at somebody else this week that sent me this like fucking 5-paragraph thing about how they didn't know what to do with their life and how their parents want them to do this and expect them and this or that. And I just sent like 2 sentences that said, do everything you want to do. Everyone that doesn't like it, get rid of them. Whoever sticks around, that's your new family. That's life. That's life.
That's actually the most perfect. That's how I've lived my life. And Brett is part of the family, so I know Brett lives by that rule too. Me and Brett are the 2 most like, I don't care. I don't care if we have the same blood in us or the same DNA. I'm not gonna put up with your shit.
Right.
I have people that I like to be around, and I'm gonna choose them 100% of the time.
Yeah, the people that help you be happy, and help you achieve what you want to do.
Hell yes.
Yeah, for sure.
So, the grade on weed on a 1 to 5 star scale, like in wrestling, what do you rate weed?
I would give it either a 420 or a
4.2.
4.2. That's a good score. That's a good score.
It could be harder. It doesn't get any harder.
No, yeah, you probably experienced the highest you're ever gonna. Well, I don't know about that, because I've been in some situations even in the past year. They were like, oh, maybe I'm the highest I'll ever be.
Yeah, I would say dabbing also will clear your fucking brain out and make you see stars.
Now you just got to try
I always
psychedelics.
forget that that's like a smoking term.
Yeah, now you got to try psychedelics. That's the next big step. You got to do weed. And let me tell you right now, I know you're excited about weed right now, and you're just like, you know what? I got to get these edibles, because that's the right way to do it. That's what everybody thinks. Don't do that. Cut your teeth on the real thing, on the smoking and the breathing it in, because those edibles They're a different thing. They're like another different drug. Treat it as carefully as you did the, the other stuff, because that's what gets people.
Edibles
that's
are
what
more-
freaks people out.
Yeah, edibles are more akin to like LSD.
Yeah.
I believe there should be a
actually
law.
didn't find this-
I actually believe there should be a law when weed gets legalized that you have to smoke it 100 times before you can start fucking with edibles.
Like a punch card from
Yeah.
a verified and approved user.
Yeah.
You can vape it. I don't care. Just the instant you need it to hit you instantly the first bunch of times you do it so you know what you can handle, then eat it.
Yeah, and then you'll find out that this shit does stuff you never even thought.
I have one quick observation on weed, and then I have something else.
Sure.
So, you know, at first I was like, no, I'm not high. I'm actually just like, you know, it's just placebo. I just think I'm high. And then it was like, oh, shit.
yeah. Your brain has to learn how to use weed, and your brain probably wasn't doing it right away. A lot of people, I mean, you're kind of lucky because a lot of people, the first time they do weed, don't get high. Like, I've known a lot of people, and then, like, I read some science behind it and shit, and weed and cocaine are these two things that when people do them, they're just like, they don't know what they're supposed to feel like, so they just don't feel like anything.
Yeah, and your
you know?
body's never processed it before. Next time it's ready. Next time it wants way more.
Yeah, next time it'll be like, let's smoke more of that. Did you keep trying to do more, or did you just stick with the one hitter?
I mean, the one hitter was all we had, like, odd. But, I mean, you know,
That's smart.
I definitely did a few
That's smart.
hits.
You are smart as hell. You did weed the perfect way the first time. I gotta tell you.
Oh, no. I just went to the smoke shop and was like, hi, what do I need for tobacco?
Yep.
You're like, I mean, like, this is what I would want my daughter to do. This is how I want my daughter to do weed. That's probably what I'm tell her. You know how, like, parents do those promise dances and those weird dances? I'm just going to set her down and be like, honey, here's a one-hitter. The first time you do marijuana, just do the one-hitter. Just hit it a couple times and put it away.
Don't do blunts like anybody you see on Instagram doing. Those kids live in California where it's a completely different lifestyle. Just take one toke of a one-hitter and say, I'm cool. Just say, I'm cool there. Say, no, I'm cool. No, I'm cool. People respect that.
Yeah. That should be, like, the job of a weed dad.
Yeah.
It's still such an awkward situation because my daughter does not want to hear about weed at 14.
Well,
so.
I had a friend that his mom sat him down at 14 and smoked weed with
I
him.
ain't doing that. I'm
She
not
did-
that mom.
I know, but she was one of, I mean, different times. She
Yeah,
would-
that's so lame.
You can't get caught on Snapchat these days doing that. Like nowadays, the kid would start be like, "Oh shit, I'm on weed on Instagram Live."
Yeah.
But no. So she was like, she said something along the lines of, "Well, other kids in school are gonna do this or whatever, so you should just do it with me first and get used to it, so you know what's up."
Dude.
But he's like a successful lawyer living out in California right now.
Dude,
kind of jelly of his life.
This is the thing about his mom. It was all selfish reasons.
Oh, it was.
Because the thing is, she's just like, wouldn't it be funny if I got high with
No,
my
she's
son?
just bored. She's just fucking bored. She's like, I want to get high with. Like, will you get high with me, dude? I'm so bored.
I think about it all the time. I'm like, man, we could all sit in the bed and watch a movie, me, Katie, and the kid, and just fucking watch a movie and goof off with some weed. But it's like,
No.
she is 14. Her brain is still developed. Hey, you waited till you were... I mean, it's just the most beautiful thing in the world. You should write a book on doing weed, Elizabeth. You did it the way that any parent... You should write a book called I Did Weed the Right Way.
Yeah, doing weed the right way.
Have your arms crossed
So
on
the
the
cover
cover.
is like me with crossed arms.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. You waited. I mean, like, I want my daughter to wait till she's like 18 or 19. Now, her school is telling her that her brain keeps developing until she's 35. So she should wait until she's 35.
I think in the 20s, though, I would believe into the 20s that your brain isn't formed yet for sure. I don't think 21-year-olds' brains are that formed.
I think they're fine. For weed. You know, they can do weed. You can handle weed. You can handle weed at 14, to tell you the truth. Weed is a 14-year-old drug.
I mean, all the people I know that did it are doing just fine now.
Yeah.
Like I said, one of them is a successful lawyer. More than one is a successful lawyer.
I'm like the worst off person you know, and I started when I was 12. So we're doing okay out here. Well, Elizabeth, we got to get to these other callers. I want to thank you for calling and doing weed the exact right way. That's the most beautiful thing I've heard in a long time.
Yeah, no problem. All right, have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Perfect. That's perfection, Brett. That is like
doing weed the right way.
Yeah. That if I had to write a book for parents, like a Dr. Spock sort of thing.
Dr. Spock, did he write?
No, remember Dr. Spock's book of...
No.
You didn't know that?
I
Back
thought
in
Leonard-
there's a baby book called Dr. Spock's Baby Book. He's a baby doctor. Dr. Spock is a baby doctor.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's also
You're a
another Dr.
trucker?
Spock. No, this is a different Dr. Spock. I don't like the other Dr. Spock. I hate that Dr.
Not
Spock.
like this one?
Yeah, I don't like that
We
one.
come from France?
Well, I like the one in the new movies. Let's try to get a couple more calls in before this time runs out, because we're about to run out of
I
time.
don't think we're going to get all the calls tonight.
Yeah.
It's packed.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Is this me?
Yup.
Yes.
Hello?
What's up?
Hey, what's up? So,
Should I just drop him?
my name's Bob. I'm from St. Louis. I've listened to you guys for a long time, and I've never talked to you. You know, I've never called in. I get real nervous and that kind of shit. But
That's fine.
I'll try and keep it short.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, absolutely. I love you guys. You guys have, like, pushed me, like, very radically. You know, like, I listen to Chapo and everything and, like, a lot of other stuff. And, you know, I'm a security guard who just drives around for, like, 8 hours a day. So I just listen to propaganda for 8 hours a day.
Nice. One of our
and,
troops.
I mean, you guys, yeah. Well, funny that you say that, because I'm actually calling. And, like, I have a bunch of stuff that I want to talk to you guys about eventually, and, like, I'll try and call in more. But today, it being Veterans Day, or at least it was.
Tomorrow.
I'm a veteran,
People are off work tomorrow for it in Columbus. Everything's closed.
Oh, okay. So I'm actually, like, a submarine veteran. And I wanted to kind of, we can talk about that later, but I ran into some mental health issues towards the end of my contract kind of deal.
Broken brain buddies.
Right,
High five.
and and I just kind of want to talk about that experience as far as, like, that culture, because, you know, something a little bit different on the show.
Yeah, we haven't heard
I
any.
guess.
You're the first Submariner we've had on the show.
Yeah. So essentially, baseline, and it's kind of hard to talk about because the culture in submarines is very, like, masculine. There's a lot of pride in it because it's such, like, a small group of people. So if you have any kind of, like, mental issue at all, you are completely, like, ostracized. Like, any pride that you had in that job, or, like, anybody that you considered, like, friends or whatever, like, you are completely cut off from the family.
That's harsh.
If you, it's pretty bad because we would. The kind of boat that I was on, you would go out for, you know, a couple months at a time and then come back in. You know, it's a missile submarine. And you'd go out for a couple months and come in, you know, and you'd build this, like, really good camaraderie with all these people, you know. And I got lucky because I was on a pretty diverse boat, so I get to hear a lot of different stories about, you know, like, people coming up in hard times, and that kind of deal, and, you know, ethnicities. It really, you know, taught me to look at things like a different way, right? And a lot of people don't have that experience, but, you know, I got lucky in that sense.
And I have heard somebody that actually said they were a lot more, like, right-wing gung-ho, and then when they actually did it, they recognized the humanity of every person on Earth and wanted to rebuke it. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stories.
It can transform some people, you know, one way or the other pretty radically. It's just kind of, you know, dependent on the culture that you kind of get put in. So long story short, essentially, I had a hiatal hernia in my stomach that hurt very badly. It felt like a heart attack kind of deal. I went to the doctor on the submarine. He, like, essentially gave me a prostate exam to test my fecal matter for blood, which came out negative, and then he pretty much gave me Pepto-Bismol and told me to suck it up, right? And I didn't eat for, a couple days, and, because the pain was so bad, and it was really fucking with me, like, mentally, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm trapped however far underneath the water with a bunch of people who aren't taking me seriously as far as, like, this medical issue.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, whatever, that's fine, I'll work through it, get it dealt with whenever we pull in. And at this point, I only had like 6 months left in the Navy, and I'm like, okay, it's kind of like shit or get off the pot as far as this medical shit goes, getting it taken care of. So, I go to the doctor and I tell him all my symptoms and everything, and he starts asking me about anxiety because, that can affect heartburn and everything. And, I'm honest with him. I'm like, yeah, man, sometimes I have anxiety, especially after this started happening. So he sends me to mental health. So I deal with this chick in mental health, right? But initially, whenever I go in, there's like so the mental health therapist is an officer, and then she sends me to this enlisted guy who's like a corpsman, like a psych tech, I guess, whatever that is, and like a dude who has like no training outside of like 3 or 4 weeks of like corpsman school for this, and he's like asking me all these questions, and I'm talking to him, and he's like subletting, like he's like undermining all the things that I'm telling him. He's like, you just need to like get out more and like that kind of deal. And I'm like, no, dude, like I get out quite a bit. Like, I was like working out and everything at the time, and these things were hindering me from doing that. It wasn't like I don't do anything and now I'm sad about it and need to do stuff. It's like I do things and my sadness is keeping me from doing things. And which a lot of people, don't really understand or don't give a shit about, I guess. And so I go through all that, right? And I finally get to talk to her, and she pretty much gives me the same thing. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get the help that I need from you. I'll just deal with it, right? And so I go forward, and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to deal with this. And then my chief, like a week later, comes to me with a note from the therapist, or it was from the cop, who's like the highest enlisted guy on the boat. And he's like, hey, man, you have to go talk to this therapist. And I'm like, well, no, like, she's not for me, right? Like,
yeah.
Therapy, like, is a pretty subjective thing. This isn't my therapist, right? He's like, well, if you don't go, then we're going to send you to captain's mast and try and essentially give you a dishonorable discharge.
Real quick. They don't have a head shrinker on the sub, right? You're not underwater talking to these people, right? Like this happened at some other time?
Correct, yeah. So,
Okay.
yeah, we essentially have 2 crews, and one crew will take out the boat and the other one will stay in the office and, like, prep things for the underway. So I'm at the point where I'm still in port, and the other crew is out to sea. Or I think at this point we had the boat, but we were doing all the maintenance on it before we took it out. And so so I'm like, okay, shit, so I guess I'm going to go talk to this lady, right? And the whole time I'm talking to her, like I'm just talking to her like I would a therapist, you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to do anything. And she keeps asking me these questions like, are you trying to get out of the underway? And the whole time that I have these people on the boat, like high-ranking people coming and asking me like, hey, man, are you okay? You're going underway with us, right? You know what I mean? Like that was the main concern.
This is
just like,
are you ready for launch?
Right. Right, and it's like if I miss the underway, then essentially I'm exiled from submarining. Like that's how it goes, right?
Yep.
So my buddy texts me, like a week or 2 before the underway, and he's like, "Hey, man, I just heard Chief talking like you're not going underway," and like part of me, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool," because I don't want to go underway.
Yeah,
but
makes
like
my
I'm
life
willing
easier.
to do it. Right, like I'm willing to do it, right? And I guess like I kind of knew how bad it was going to be as far as like the way that I was going to be perceived by the command, but it was like exponentially worse than I thought it would be. To like the point to where like they told me that I was getting off the boat, but I didn't understand why, and I thought that it was like because of my stomach issues, right? Like nobody told me at all that it was a mental health issue. So I was like, okay. So I get taken off the boat, and you know, I go to the therapist, and I'm in like this holding area where they essentially just have you clean a building for 8 hours, and then they send you home, and it's shitty or whatever, you know.
Sounds
'cause
terrible.
you're just kind of like, yeah, well, you're with these people that essentially have been ostracized by the community, and you just being around with these people really, you know, annihilates, I guess, your standing, right? Which shouldn't be important, but like whenever
Yeah.
you're being lauded, yeah.
Now you're part of the crowd. Now you're with you. Like they put you with people who have been ostracized, which makes you ostracized, and it makes you look. You can't move up then at that point.
I was a complete leper. Like I got the shit talking. I was gone, you know, like once a week I was gone all day, and it was, you know, like they're, oh, it's fucking Josh, he's gone again. Oh, I guess we just don't go to work. It's like I wished I was dead. I kept fantasizing about jumping off you know what I mean? And it's like it doesn't matter. The pressure is overwhelming to like, dude, can you just be cool? Like they want it to go away. They want you to pretend it doesn't exist. Which is really fucked up if you consider what you're working on and what you're dealing with.
Yeah, like what your job is. They want you to, you know.
Right, and like me specifically, right? Like I was in navigation. I worked. I was an electronics technician in navigation. That was like my thing. So it's like, you know, I was working on like a lot of high voltage gear, but we owned pretty much everything that wasn't in the reactor or that wasn't in the engine room that was electric. We owned it. You know, give or take a few things. But pretty much all the low voltage gear on the boat we owned. So we were just getting smacked with like.
It's so crazy that you were on a submarine. I'm sorry. Like it seems so cool.
It's fun. Yeah, well, you think, but like my LPO on a sidebar, he was nuts, right? Like he was like, imagine like the boss that makes all the money, but like you know how much he makes, but he's still like gung ho and like trying to get you to do things. There's no promise of like a raise or like any reward for any hard work that you do, but he still wants you to like bust your ass like there is.
Oh yeah.
And so we would wind up with 16 or 18-hour days sometimes just doing maintenance because we would be waiting on the ability to do maintenance because a lot of our equipment would be down. And then instead of being like, okay, go home, come back whenever the equipment's up, they would just have you like clean the boat for 8 hours.
Jesus.
And then eventually you would be, and then they would just call you randomly and be like, hey, man, you're going to go fucking do maintenance now. And then you would do maintenance for like 6 hours.
2 hours of work,
And,
10 hours a day.
Fix the screen door,
Right.
Fix the screen door on the submarine.
Right, exactly. But
I thought that was the Polish military.
No, it's not. It's the dumb military.
That's Bill
We
Clinton's
don't
submarines.
see those
Defunded
jokes.
that
You
military
did that
so
joke.
bad.
Why did Bill Clinton put screen doors on submarines? Right? I'm sorry. I just as soon as I hear submarine, I start thinking of screen doors.
No, but yeah, so we're in this hold unit, and essentially, like, the guy is sending a lot of us who are qualified, right? So we have our warfare insignia. He's sending us home early, right? And, like, the reason, you know, the people that he knows why they're there. Okay? And so I'm getting sent home early all the day, which I'm married, so I'm like, hell yeah, dude. Like, send me the fuck home. Like, I'm ready to go. So,
Hell yeah.
so I go, you know.
Yeah.
So they finally, so I'm talking to the guy, one of the guys who lets everybody home, go home early. And essentially what he was doing and what the common practice was that I didn't realize is that he would essentially send all the people that weren't there for mental health reasons home at noon and then keep everybody else that was there for mental health reasons there until 5 o'clock.
To do what?
And to do nothing, just to be there. Essentially,
man,
like
that
clean the
fucking
building. They've been cleaning all day.
Just to
Right, so
punish
that's
it,
gross.
right? Because they got something that you can't really see. They got it. They got an issue that you can't. It's not like a cast
Well, yeah.
on their head.
You're not part of. You're not part of the brotherhood anymore. Like you're
Exactly.
still part of the brotherhood. You're not part of it, so fuck you, right? Like you can clean. You can sit here because apparently that's all you want to do, right? Like that's their mentality about it.
Right.
Yeah, so the boat pulls back in. I had this one guy, and I'm hesitant to mention his name just because it's a small community, and I'm sure it'll get back to him. But his name's Michael Sperlin. Okay, he's a chief that was on the boat that I was on, and whenever the boat pulled back in, this dude was harassing the fuck out of me. He was like almost like the Trump guy, where like he's saying the shit that everybody like wants to say kind of deal. But a lot of people had better sense to say it, but he didn't.
Right.
And yeah, so he's just harassing me all the time, like giving me shit, saying that I tapped, saying that just calling me like a weak person and everything. And essentially on my checkout to the boat, I told everybody, and they didn't give a shit. And that's essentially the abridged version that I can give you guys. I don't want to hold you up. But yeah, the time, because we had 4 or 5 people on our boat that were going through the same thing and going through mental health, to the point to where the shrink actually came down to the boat and talked to the command about it. And the command said that they were going to open up and be more like accepting of it on the face, but whenever it came to actual one-on-one interactions with people, the culture hadn't, I guess, picked up yet.
Right, it was still intimidated out of you.
Right. But yeah, I'm going to try and call in more of you guys. I'm actually at work right now. I'm like doing overtime so that I can talk to you guys. So I'm getting paid to do it, which is awesome.
That's dope.
But yeah, I know. Like I'm trying to eat up this clock as much as I fucking can. Because they're taking money from me. So, yeah. So I'm in St. Louis. Like I said, I'm actually on the Illinois side of St. Louis. I'm not on social media a lot, but I do want to like throw my Twitter out there just so if there are people in the area that are like into radical politics, because I am, but I don't have a group. You know what I mean?
Okay, cool.
So if they want to like hit me up and get together, it's Fiskerdo on Twitter, which is FISKRDOO. And like DM me. I'm really bad at the social media thing, but I'm gonna try and do it. But yeah, like DM me if you're in the area, and like hopefully we can like talk about radical politics.
Shoot me a DM at username Joshua. We can talk about how the radiation ruined our brains.
Oh, sweet, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thanks, guys. Good luck.
Peace out.
Yeah, later.
Where'd Brian go?
I'm not sure exactly.
Peed. I'm sorry. I was full of pee. Let's get this last call.
All right, folks, we got one call left, so if we don't pick you up, you're not it.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of you jumped back into the chat, but we're over 3 hours. We don't want to be that way, really.
We don't like hanging up on people, but we also don't want to do a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah, it feels like when you're doing a call center job and there's like a queue, and when the queue stays this full, it just gets real stressful. But let's take our
We're
last
just stressed. We're completely stressed right now.
It's a lot of emotional labor we're doing. Let's see who's on the phone. Thanks for calling Street Fight. Who are we talking to?
Hey, this is Carter out in LA. How are you guys?
Great. How are you?
I'm keeping on.
It's burning. You're living in
bummer.
You're living in a place that's burning, so you're probably not as good as we are. It's just 40 degrees here.
It's not great right now. It's been a dark fucking week, honestly. Like, everything bad has happened in California in one fucking week. And it's been real fucking difficult to live with. But, like, the most immediate thing, obviously, is the fires, and just knowing that, like, the people who are fighting off the fires right now are, like, people who are incarcerated, getting paid, like, $2 a day, or just getting paid fucking nothing, who, like, are risking their lives and could fucking die to save mostly millionaires' houses.
Absurd.
Right now. It's just, like, it's making my blood boil. The areas that are burning right now around me are, like, all these areas where, like, really, really rich people live. It's, like, Calabasas and Malibu, and these places where, like, Drake lives, where fucking Kim Kardashian lives. My fucking boss had a house in Malibu. All the fucking just like multi-millionaires' houses are burning right now, and the people who are trying to save them are fucking incarcerated people. Like just the sheer absurdity of that, the sheer fucking, like, disgustingness of that, like, the people who have to put their lives on the line to protect these homes are incarcerated people. Like, it just boggles my mind. Like, so much of what's happened this past week has just, like, broken my, like, spirit in a lot of ways. And, like, I hate to be melodramatic, but it's just been such a fucking rough week, because it's like the same area that got hit with that shooting this week, where that veteran shot up that bar and 12 people died, that area is on fire right now. Like, it immediately happened, like, a couple days after they fucking had all those people get killed, where the fire happened. It's just
that's fucking
all
sad.
at once.
Yeah, that is a shit
It's
storm.
it's that, like, yeah, like this week we had the chance to enact rent control in California and fucking get a real chance to stop just hemorrhaging people onto the streets, and just stop fucking letting people, like, get forced out where they can't afford their rent anymore, and they fucking have to live in their cars and live in tents and all this shit, and it happens all up and down the fucking state, and people didn't vote for it. People wouldn't fucking go for that. They couldn't stand to just fucking allow that to happen. And we're letting, and so, like, people are going to be out on the streets, and there's going to be more fires. I feel like the fires are going to be even worse next year than they are this year, because this is worse than it was last year already. And it's just going to keep getting fucking worse. And it's just, like, it just hit me that, like, this is it. We're in the shit. Like, climate change is here. Like, we're facing it now. I feel like this is the first time where I feel like I'm kind of experiencing what people in, like, Houston and Florida and Puerto Rico have been through, where, like, we're just watching everything burn and everything just go to the ground right now. And, like, we've got to start figuring out how to be prepared for this, and we've just got to be ready for this. Like, this next year, all I want to do is, like, start preparing mutual aid shit so that next time when the fires are this bad, like, we're just not caught unaware. And I'm sorry to fucking ramble like this, but it's just, like, everything just happened all at once, and it's been so fucking dark and so fucking bad.
I hope the fucking Kardashians' house burns down. I'll tell you why.
That's the thing.
I'm sorry.
That's the thing. Let me tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now.
Because
my boss has a house in Malibu, right? My boss has a house in Malibu.
Sure.
We knew the fires were burning in Malibu on Friday. I was like, I pray to God my boss's house is burning down right now. All I want to hear is that my boss lost his fucking house. Turns out my boss sold his house 2 weeks ago. He sold it to a fucking vineyard. So the house burned down, but he doesn't give a shit. It didn't fucking affect him that his house
that's
burned
great.
down.
That's great
And it
timing
was like
on his part.
this close. It was this close to my boss losing his house, and it would have been like a beautiful thing. I would have been so happy.
That's why he's the boss.
Well, I mean, like,
yes, exactly.
There are islands in the Pacific that have already disappeared.
Yes, I know.
They
Like,
had to
this is where we're
evacuate.
at.
They're
Like,
gone. You know, and
Exactly.
the places, the low-lying places in Southeast Asia that are getting just absolutely demolished. Like, these are the people that are contributing the least to it, and they're the ones that are getting hit
Exactly.
first. And, you know, like, we're kind of in the quote-unquote, like, the United Snakes of America. You know, if some wealthy American capitalist pig dog, yada, 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 like, if one of those people are actually, like, affected by it in a really public, unavoidable way, then I don't know, maybe that would kind of, you know, bring the issue home to people or something. Like,
Yeah, we really
I don't know.
We're
I
missing.
hope so.
I think that I ended up. I don't do much Facebook's politics arguing anymore, but I did because of the vote shaming this year. And one thing I snapped back at people is, like, those folks that are interested in, like, Democrats or even, like, California progressive ideas when it comes to climate change is, like, we're just not even having. They're not even having a conversation that.
No, they're not.
That is,
They're not
like,
at all. They're not
facing
ready.
head on what's happening, you know, and how we can react.
No,
to
they're
it,
not.
You know, and
Like, there's no infrastructure in place. There's nothing ready for the amount of devastation that's coming.
And there's
like,
a lot of
this is
people that
just
want
the
to
beginning.
ignore it.
This
Yeah.
amount of this amount of fire, this amount of destruction that's happening right now, it feels like it's only the beginning of the doom. Like, this is the first time where, like, climate change has really just felt like it's come home to roost, and, like, I'm living it, and it's making it real in a way where it's never been real to me before, to be honest. Like,
Well,
I can read about it, I can, like, watch the videos and all that shit. I can know in the abstract that it's bad. And, like, there's been really bad wildfires here in California, but, like, nothing like this. And it's just, like, all we can do is fucking prepare. All we can do is try to be ready to fucking help the people we can help and, like, try to help each other survive. Because it's just, we're at the point where we're just going to have to help figure out how to relocate half of the human population from, like, huge chunks of Africa, from huge chunks of India. And, like, we're at this point where our choice is either, like, helping relocate people or just letting people die. And it's that real and it's that fucking intense.
Yeah.
And we've got to fucking, like, make the decision now to do better. And fucking voting isn't going to do it. Fucking waiting for the Democrats isn't going to fucking do it. And I'm sorry to be so fucking bleak and to be so, like, pessimistic, but, like, we have to do shit now. We have to fucking organize now because we're all going to die otherwise.
Yeah, I mean,
And, like, that's
anyway,
just how
we
it
all
feels
do.
here, at least. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I understand, man. It's rough, and thanks for calling in and sharing. You know what's going on down there. It's
And like
it's
I
something
say,
that
like,
we all have to.
It's been good to listen to the show. It's been good to listen to this episode because, like, hearing from Elizabeth was nice. Hearing from Weed Waffles was nice. It's good to get some perspective that not everything's on fire all the fucking time.
Right.
But, like, it's real hard not to just be stressed out here right now.
Understandable.
It seems like it. I would be nervous for sure.
It's like it's literally 5 miles from my apartment right now. Like, I've been, like, listening to my kitten wheeze all weekend because the smoke has been affecting him and everything. Like, it's just bad. There's just no getting around it that it's just fucking bad.
Yeah.
And it's weird because, like, people can kind of just go about their lives and, like, act like everything's normal in, like, pockets of LA. But at the end of the day, like, it's just put a, like, damper on everything.
Right.
And
It's
just
very,
like, blanket.
it does seem like shit is just happening there normally, but there is a fire. Like, it from here, it doesn't
I also
seem
went
that
to the mall
crazy.
today.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I went to the mall today too.
Yeah.
I went to the mall and it was fucking packed and I couldn't find parking,
I
and
mean,
so I
that-
left.
that's
'Cause so
kinda-
many people were at the mall.
If the mall's on fire, there's probably, if it's not on fire, then you can probably find a good deal in there.
Yeah. Well, I
That-
mean,
that
it's-
kind of seems like the deal.
that just seems like it just seems like that's what goes on. You know, we've so, like, conditioned ourselves to just keep living our life no
Yeah,
matter
we don't
what
wanna-
is happening.
we don't wanna
out
fuck with
there.
that.
Yeah, as long as it's not right in my front yard, I don't have to deal with it, and I can just
Let's get some
do
shopping.
my normal
Exactly.
thing.
Exactly.
For sure. Well, thanks for calling in, and
Yeah, guys, thanks for taking my
solidarity.
call. I really appreciate
Yeah.
it.
All right.
Yeah,
rough
thank
shit.
you very much. All right, have a good night, guys.
Talk us out, Brett.
Thank you for listening
Yeah.
to Street Fight Radio, the #1 anarcho comedy radio show on any station across the nation. You're listening to us live on WCRS FM, the best community radio that there is, 92.7 or 98.3 if you're inside 270. We're on the Pacifica Radio Network, and you can find more of what we do on Patreon. It's a place where you support artists and things that you like. You can give us some money over on patreon.com/streetfightradio. You can also donate to WCRSFM.org for allowing us to grow what we've done out of their little studio here. Well, did you have something to say, Josh?
Well, I just wanted to make it clear that I am not trying to incite anyone to
Oh,
actually.
hey, come on, don't apologize now.
Right? No, I clearly I don't want anyone to burn the Kardashians' house down.
No.
I'm not trying to incite anyone to do
now
that.
we're in
Mention
another
it.
spot.
I am just suggesting that, maybe if a famous reality TV star publicly had their life ruined because of global climate change, then maybe that might force it into all of ours consciousness,
She tried to-
perhaps a bit more than it is right now.
She tried to tell Trump about prison. She really did. She
did
had a
do that.
binder. So,
She did do that.
thank
She
you
had
for
a binder
listening.
full of
This is
women.
Street Fight Radio. Head to streetfightradio.com for more.
Good night.
Bye, video people.
Hold on, I want him to get this sound to play. I think it'll be chill if we can get it every time to do this. Damn it! It used to say the show has now ended. Thank you. Goodbye. So I just did that instead.
I could do that if you want.
Peace out.